Alright guys, what's going on? My name's Max. I'm a current MMA fighter out of Northern Michigan. I'm here with my buddy Logan from high school, who's on his way to become a MMA judge in Southern California. And yeah,
I'm,
go ahead and introduce yourself.
yeah, my name's Logan. Working on being a judge. I'm a current inspector under CAMO, California Amateur MMA Organization. Here to just have a different perspective on the MMA game with the fighter. Bounce our perspectives off each other. I've been working it for about like 6 to 7 months, and I signed up for Herb Dean's course coming up in September. I'm studying for my tests and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to that, and getting my way up to like pro level stuff, judging pro level fights, inspecting pro level fights, that kind of stuff. So that's the type of experience that I bring to the table to this conversation. So
Fuck yeah, dude. And yeah, you
yeah,
have like experience too, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, some like striking experience
yes,
too. So we
yeah,
definitely need some guys that know what the fuck they're talking about judging.
yeah. Started gi jiu-jitsu when I was 12. Once I got to high school, I wrestled in high school for about like 2 or 3 years, and then started like MMA. I think I was about like 18 when I had my last like little smoker fight, and then just ever since, just been obsessed with MMA, obsessed with the UFC, all things combat sports, anything outside of MMA as well, like bare knuckle boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, everything. I'm a fan of the combat sports
Hell yeah.
sphere, and
Yeah,
so
man.
that's what I choose to do with my time. And that's the path that we're taking, both of you, or both of us rather.
Yeah,
Um, just on the just separate ways. You're inside the cage. I'm inside the cage between rounds.
yeah.
Eventually, I'll be on the outside of the cage scoring fights. So, you know,
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, no, that's
yeah,
sick that we're both like trying to turn our passions into like a career. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
definitely, man. Yeah, and you have a fight coming up, right? You might want to tell everyone that you
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
your fight. Yeah,
So I have a fight coming up May 30th. Today is the 24th. So I've been cutting weight. Hungry as hell, but we're getting it. I'm fighting at middleweight. I have a 1.9 pound allowance, so I got to be 186.9 by May 29th on weigh-ins. I'm 190 right now, so it should be a pretty smooth cut. But
yeah.
yeah, just got to get through the suffer in the next couple days, and then I'm about to whoop this dude's ass. So
Hell yeah, bro.
yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then
What's uh what's a kind of like sneak peek people can get to see, like what you think you're gonna employ in your game plan in your next fight? Give us some
so
into the Max verse.
So definitely trying to employ a lot of clinch work, a lot of knees and elbows. Definitely trying to get mount and finish from mount. Um, I'm definitely a better wrestler than the guy I'm fighting, so I think I'm gonna just try to employ my wrestling a lot, but also keep the damage up as well, with a lot of strikes and stuff like that. And if I can drop him on the feet and knock him out on the feet, that'd be great. So I mean, I'm just really gonna try to keep in mind I've been working a lot of boxing footwork and stuff like that, and I think that's going to help me cut angles a lot better with my strikes. So if I am able to keep it on the feet pretty fluidly and actively, and dominate them on the feet, then yeah, I'm just going to try to use my footwork and knock them out there, and then if not, just clinches and takedowns and finish them and mount. And that's pretty much my plan.
I think with you too, you could use your striking and your footwork to really set up your wrestling, right? You
For
know,
sure.
thinking about two different weapons through two different like paths of the fight is a lot more difficult than your opponent thinking about just one avenue that you can
Yeah.
be successful in, right? Um, you know that's something that you look to employ. But I know I've seen a little bit of Street Beef's highlights.
Yeah.
You can put them out on the feet too. So you know, um, just use all the tools that come to you, flow with it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And
For sure.
I'm sure that you'll do enough to get the win. And you got the superior grappling, I believe, and so you'll be able to get it done.
Yeah.
True expression of MMA. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think you're capable of that, and you have that mindset where you don't want to be stuck in, one path to victory. You want to explore all the paths. And,
No, definitely not. Yeah, and that was with my street beefs fight. That was my biggest thing. For some reason, I was, feeling so comfortable on the feet that I didn't want to employ my grappling at all. So it stayed on the feet the whole time, and that's like my biggest regret from that fight. So going into this fight, I really want to use all my weapons. And I think it's important too to give the guy like different looks. I want him to be worried about, oh, is he going to take me down? Is he going to try to go up top? Is he going down? Just to kind of overload the guy's system a little bit, and I think that'll
exactly
work to my advantage.
I think DJ talks about that, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like, you gotta overload the different defenses of the opponent, right?
Yeah, I've heard GSP talking about that too.
Yeah. Overload their nervous system. Yeah, that's what GSP talks about. Yeah.
Yep.
GSP is one of my faves. He's probably the reason why I got the fighting style I try to emulate myself the most.
Yeah.
Just really intelligent wrestler, but also can strike. And he was also left-handed, but he fought right-handed just so his jab could be strong. Yeah. That's why his jab was so strong, and that's why he would always Superman punch. He's talked about that before, where he's naturally left-handed.
That makes sense. He switched
stance. Same thing with Dustin Poirier.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, but he's the inverse. He's actually right-handed, but he fights southpaw, so his front hand could be the strong hand.
Yeah,
it's a smart strategy.
It is, yeah. Actually, I found that interesting with Dustin Poirier, because I just learned that about Dustin maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I found that interesting because when I first started fighting, and I think it's from my wrestling background, I'm a natural southpaw, but I'm right-handed. So when I first started striking, I was standing southpaw all the time. And then over the years, I've gotten more comfortable in orthodox. But I felt really good in southpaw, but my problem in southpaw is I had no power in my left hand from southpaw. But when I'm saying orthodox, I got a lot of power in my left hooks and stuff. But I can kind of switch it up a little bit. But I try to stay orthodox now. But yeah, I found that really interesting with Dustin Poirier, because I didn't know that there was guys that did that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's definitely another way to think about how to use your weapons, right? If you have a strength of a certain thing, you might want to switch up your footwork or use that to your advantage. For example, Alex Pereira, he's technically a switch stance fighter, but he likes to have his right hand in front of him so he could have that check hook, right?
Right.
Because that's his punch of choice. That's what he excels at. You know what I mean? And he knows that, so that's why he sticks with the winning formula. Someone like GSP, where he figured out that he was left-handed, kind of like in your case, it's not working for him.
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, I want my front hand to be the strongest, so that when I jab someone, it's more snaps their head back than just, point fighting.
Right. Right, yeah, and it's interesting with him, too, because he's one of those, a lot of people talk shit on karate and stuff like that, but he's
Kyokushin.
He's one of those people like him, Lyoto, fucking Yair. Yeah. They're a couple of the dudes that have actually made it work and made it look really good for MMA.
That Kyokushin style that he has on the feet. It's also that throw the takedown, man. And it's not the thing with GSP is that I love to tell people, and how I go for takedowns. People always tell me oh, you're a wrestler, you're going to get so tired. Shooting for takedowns is tiring. Well, we're going to watch GSP. Every time he shoots for a takedown, it's the person rushing in, or they're giving up their momentum, and he's just using it against them. He's not shooting. He's literally just taking your momentum and flipping it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and I think
he's taking the advantages. No, you're good. Taking the advantages, those small little blips in time, to manipulate where the fight goes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I was gonna say, I think in general that's a super important nuance of grappling. Is it's important to drive and push, but I think a lot of it is using that counterbalance and that leverage to your advantage. And I think that's why Fedor was such a good grappler, because he knew how to place his body weight to almost kind of make it look seamless. And just kind of throw the guy. It's he wasn't necessarily exerting too much energy. He was just using the counterbalance to his advantage. And I think
even just true grapplers like Gordon Ryan, he's all sauced up and stuff, but he doesn't really use a lot of strength, finishes a lot of the time. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
can he could stand up with you, and he can like trip you. He could do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and he's not sitting there tiring himself out with like shooting. You know what I mean? And he's probably the best grappler on the planet. You know,
Oh, for
and
sure.
he chooses to like trip and like sweep and stuff like that, just because it's not as taxing on your energy. You know, if you're shooting like if I bet you in the training room, your coach goes, "Hey, do blast doubles 50 times,
Hmm.
and then do a blast double," but this person's like coming in and like giving them your momentum, giving
Right.
them like you're gonna be a lot more tired if you're like physically shooting on them every single time. You know what
Oh,
I
for
mean?
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think just like in general, like figuring out ways to like conserve your energy in every like facet of fighting is like one of the most important things for
hmm
winning a fight.
I saw that a lot this weekend. I worked at Spar Star 69 out in Commerce, California at Dirt Dog.
Hell yeah.
And there were a couple fighters that, they really went for the finish, or they, just defending. They just gassed themselves out.
Yeah.
And, they lost decisions, or, they just, there's this one kid, his name was Kobe Hatcher, I think it was his name. Tall, like long kid, athletic kid. And kind of like a John Jones build.
Mm.
And but he was a wrestler. Like he was like shooting these like from far out, like you know, big distance, like from like almost kicking range. And he's
Some
like shooting
Hamzat
from
shots.
shooting from
Yeah.
super far out. And he got like the first couple, but by the third round, he's pretty tired, and
He's
he's
gassed. Yeah.
just sitting there, holding the freaking the shit,
Right.
there, the takedown, and you're not doing anything with it. It's not effective. You're kind of stalling at that point, and it is tiring to do that. That's why it's like a very nuanced game when you go to grapple in MMA. You know what I mean?
Right. Was that the fight you were
Yeah.
telling me about before we started recording?
No, that was the co-main. That was my last
Okay.
assignment of the night. That was a title fight, and his name is Lucas Brown. He's the Spar Star featherweight champ in California, and under AJ McKee and his dad as his coaches. And he came out, threw a couple like side kicks to the body, side kicks to the legs, and I was like, okay, he's bouncing around on his feet, kind of like heavy karate stance,
Hmm.
and he's just kind of sitting there, pop shotting these jabs, kind of just picking them apart from the outside. And his opponent, all this kid wanted to do was take him down. Just wanted to take Lucas down the whole time. And he got him down a couple times and controlled him on his back and had both hooks in for a while. Just didn't do anything with it. Lucas was able to put 2-on-1, wrist control, and like get out of it, roll out of it, switch
Right.
positions. He even got on top at points, and actually cut him open on his forehead, from just the reversal of him like reversing on top, and then with the strikes on top.
Mm.
And later in the rounds, like it went the distance, and later in like the second and third round, the kid was gassed, and he was like his coaches were like holding his legs over his head to
Oh
try to
damn.
like get
Yeah.
his oxygen.
Yeah.
Like he was done.
Done.
And
Yeah.
Lucas was standing like before the time.
Right.
He was standing up, and he was saying to him, "This is my ring. This is my ring."
Right.
And he goes out there and like picks him apart in that third round. And a lot of people think that, hey, you got to beat the champ. You know what I mean? You got to
Right.
like effectively be like, hey, I am better than
You
the
got to
champion.
take it from him.
Yeah, you have to like forcibly take it
You
from him.
can't
And
coast to
he
that.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't. And this opponent, he didn't do that. And Lucas
Right.
had the more effective MMA skill. Maybe not the offensive grappling, but he did have some good defense. He did stuff a couple takedowns. He got out of it, was able to reverse position, and then effectively use it to his advantage. By cutting him and damaging him on the ground, and then getting back up, and a lot of lead leg kicks, chewing up the calf a lot of like oblique kicks to the top of the like not the knee, but like the hamstring, that thigh
Like almost like a
area.
quad
Yeah,
kick.
yeah. and he was turning it inside too, so it's kind of like catching the inside of your quad a little bit too,
Mhm.
and just kind of like picking him apart from the outside. Was trying to stay away from that takedown, and he ended up getting the win on last split decision. So, and I
Hell
think
yeah.
he announced that was his last amateur fight, so he's gonna try to go up to pro. So
Nice.
it's good for him. Yeah, I think that was like his 11th pro fight or something, or 11th amateur fight
Amateur.
rather.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's a good number because you only need like three, but I really think you should have at least like 9 or 10 just to like get
yeah,
every experience. Because you see a lot of guys that have like three amateur fights and then they go pro, and then you can't go back once you go pro, and they kind of
yeah.
just fuck up their career.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, I think that's smart to do a lot of amateur fights.
oh
Um,
yeah, bro.
but yeah,
Definitely.
going back to like the cardio is because you were saying the one guy was looking very solid cardio wise, and the other guy was like absolutely gassed. Is that when
hmm
you're judging? Is that like part of the criteria, like looking at cardio? Is that something that's factored in?
No, no. So what we're just we are judging effective offensive output.
Mm-hmm.
You know, damage, dominance, and duration. Those
Okay.
are like the three in order, and in that order, right? Damage is number one, right? If we could tell that the one fighter is more damage than the other, obviously the one that's less damage is winning, right? That's
Right.
kind of very simple. Dominance is a little different. If both damage is kind of hard to score, where it's even or whatever, then you go to dominance to where whose striking was more effective, which one pushed the pace, which one had them backing up the whole time, which shots were more powerful, did more effect on the opponent, or in the grappling department, was the grappling more effective? Did he put a lot of pressure? Was there a lot of clinch work that he was dominant in, or did he get him down to the ground and then was there control time or dominance on the ground with strikes or submission attempts? Stuff like that. And then if that's even those two things are like even, then we go to duration. How long was said fighter effective in the fight?
Okay.
How much time elapsed to where, hey, um, he was controlling this fight. He had these more advantageous positions for however longer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what we judge for duration. Um, but a lot of the times you're usually getting to one and two, like damage
Right.
and dominance. Those are usually like the most important and what seals fights, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So so for example with the Sean Strickland Hamzat fight,
hmm
Hamzat had like about like 7 minutes of control time, or like I guess
Correct.
you could say like duration. Would that be like duration?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Strickland had about 3 minutes, but in the 3 minutes that Sean had, he was doing more with that. So if you were like scoring that, would you be giving that to Hamzat because he had a longer amount of time, or would you be giving it to Strickland because he did more damage with the time?
The I would have to go back and watch it for sure, to get a very like specific scorecard on it.
Right.
Um, but a shot in the dark here, Hamza did have his back a couple times. Sean was able to reverse those positions and then get on top and actually rain down some strikes. Um, it's to me in those moments what makes or breaks that judging criteria is was Sean was he more effective striking him right then and there than Hamzat's taking him down for 7 minutes and holding him down and then having multiple submission attempts? Like,
Yeah.
it's which one do you weigh more? Was Sean's strikes like, damn, this fight's about to end, like he's
Mm,
rocking the shit out of him?
yeah.
Or is Hamzat's more impressive because, he gets him down to the ground multiple times, he controls him, has the advantageous position on the back a
Yeah.
couple times, you know? That one, I really want to go back and watch that fight to get a very like more new look on it.
Right.
But when I watched it the first time, for me, and I heard this from a couple of my bosses as well, that are CSAC inspectors, judges, and referees, which is California State Athletic Commission, which is like the big boys, the pros.
Right.
And they worked the Netflix shit. Like I saw my bosses standing next to Mike Perry and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So that
that's
was really
sick.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of them were saying like, hey, like it's kind of Like, how can you win a championship just by backing up and jabbing the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
I
not
mean,
very dominant. That's not like we were saying earlier. That's not
you're
forcibly
not
taking
taking it. Yeah.
the belt from the champ, right? Um, you know,
Yeah.
I think I think this is a very good comparison. I think Izzy, like in his prime,
Mm-hmm.
his off the back foot striking far more effective than Sean
Well, it
Strickland's
was
striking.
dominant too. Like
When it, yeah,
yeah, he was dominant off the back foot.
like
Yeah.
those like lean back check hooks, like that exchange with him and Robert Whitaker. He's literally
Mhm.
all just sliding backwards, just
Right.
throwing those hooks, right? And like that was his game, slide back kick, or he would do that jab kick at the same time where he's kind of like he's using the jab to cover his kick coming over this shoulder, right?
Right.
And he's and like those are all leaning back. Those are all going backwards. His backwards jab, like those were far more effective technique than like Sean, marching, going backwards, checking kicks that aren't even there, like pretending to check a kick and then just like jabbing. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
not. I know he was injured. Hurt his what? He hurt his
I think
shoulder or
his
something.
left shoulder, or no, his
Yeah,
right shoulder. His right shoulder.
yeah.
Yeah.
So his power punch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but hey, man, this is MMA. You can elbow, you can knee, you could kick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He could have. He didn't have to just resort to his right hand, right?
Yeah. I
But
mean, you know what they
that's just
say: watch your mouth around Sean Strickland, or else he'll coast to a 29-28 decision.
and jab the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking throw some teeps.
yeah. So, in my opinion, it's just like it has to be. It absolutely has to be. If the Lucas Brown fight at Spar Star 69 is, hey, you got to take the belt away from the champ, then
Yeah.
at the UFC level, it
Then
has
yeah.
to be the same. It has to be the same.
So if it was
You
up
know what
to
I mean?
you, would you have given that to Hamzat then?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could
Like,
see.
yeah, I will say the damage on Hamzat's face was very telling,
Mm-hmm.
right? But also at the same time, towards the end of the fight, Sean's nose was a mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, Hamzat's hitting him with overhands, hooks, trying to clinch him up, clinch strikes, like mixing it up. Sean's out there backwards kickboxing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Yeah, and it's hard too because like, I'm a Sean Strickland fan, so like when when a fight is so close like that, I'm like biased to Sean Strickland, so it's hard when it's so close that you're gonna have a bias to whoever you kind of want to win.
Dude, I thought he beat DDP the first time.
I thought he did too. I was actually pissed about that. I thought he
I
beat him.
think that his volume, the efficiency on his volume that night,
Yeah.
far more superior than it was on the night with Hamzat. Far
Yeah,
more superior.
and like you just said that like it's like he was the champ at the time if I'm not mistaken. Sean was. And so it's like did DDP really take the fucking belt from Sean in that fight? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
those bad takedown attempts by DDP, the sloppy, like, there was a lot of he's whiffing at air.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like DDP just whiffing at air. Yeah, man. I think a big reason why I got into judging actually is seeing Islam Volk 1.
Mhm.
That really drove me up a wall.
Yeah. You're going to piss off a lot of Dagestan people.
I don't care, man.
No, me either.
I don't
Fucking
care, dude.
either.
I don't care, dude.
They need to have a
Like-
reality check.
Dude, he was winning on volume,
Yeah.
kicking the shit out of Islam's legs.
Yeah.
Like Islam was standing on stilts by the end of the fight.
Right.
And then in the 5th round, man's on top of him, pounding him out.
Yeah.
And he's barely intelligently defending himself. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's just,
Yeah, I mean it seems
it's that control wrestle mentality
right.
that like people think that that's the end all be all in this judging criteria, and it's not. I mean, I literally have the Association of Boxing Commissions and Combative Sports and Mixed Martial Arts rules and regulations right in front of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to sit here and tell me
Yeah.
that I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I've been studying this for hours every day,
Yeah.
and like you don't you don't score for defense, and control time is the third out of the three things that we're supposed to judge. You know what I mean? It's not
Right.
supposed to be the end all be all. You win the fight based on you wrestle fuck someone.
Right. Yeah, and I think that
Yeah.
like part of the problem with like the judging in MMA is it's so fucking subjective. Like I almost wish like and I want to hear your thoughts about this. Like I almost wish there was like a definitive point system the same way that there is in like wrestling. I feel like that would solve
Yeah,
a lot of the problems.
yeah, we have that boxing system, right? And
Yeah.
it's not the same because we just have more weapons. Like there's just more
Right.
weapons, there's more avenues to the fight. A ten score system works perfectly if you're just doing punches.
Right.
Because there's only so many different types of punches, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or effective technique to punch,
And
right?
it's like less like boxing. I don't want to say it's one dimensional, but compared to MMA it kind of is. So it's like there's only so many variables that can happen in boxing, whereas in MMA I
I
feel like
mean, it
there's so
is
many
pretty.
different variables.
Yeah, there's different archetypes of boxers, but technically they are fighting in one dimension, and it's just hands. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's not a diss to them.
No,
That's
not at
just what
all.
their game is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're far more superior at it. I would love to talk about the fucking Usyk Rico fight that happened yesterday, and how
Okay.
Rico got robbed yesterday
I actually didn't
on the
watch
judge.
that, so you're gonna have to fill me in on everything.
So Rico, big boy, obviously,
Mhm.
and big underdog in this fight, and he's coming out there pushing, Usyk around, power punches, pushing him back. Like Usyk's on the back foot this whole time, like hitting him with power shots, and they're
Right.
affecting Usyk, like they're wobbling him, and then Usyk wobbles him, and then he gets back up, and then Usyk, bum rushes him, and he's still intelligent, defending himself, like shelling up, and he's like not out by any means. Like his head's not
Right.
even wobbling around or anything, and they call the fight.
Oh, that's
Like
bullshit.
some very early stoppage, like boxing sham shit.
Yeah, so you're saying
And
he's like actively defending, actively protecting himself.
yeah, if you want to, like, after this, or we can always comment on the next episode if you ever like go
Yeah.
around to watch. I'm probably gonna watch the whole fight again. I
Yeah.
watched bits and pieces of it while I was at work. I had a buddy that was watching it on his phone before the fights. So it was in Egypt, so it was like early weird time.
Right.
But yeah, man, like he was winning the whole time, and then in like the 11th round or something, it's like, and it was one. Oh yeah, this is another thing. I totally forget this part. This makes it a lot more telling. This finish, he calls off the fight with 1 second left in the 11th round.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, like if
Like.
you were to see this,
Yeah.
it looks like so yeah, he's getting backed up in the corner with his things up, but it looks like
Yeah.
he's about to just like he's waiting for the storm to end to fire back. You know what I mean?
That's bullshit. And if there's one
Yeah,
second left, like if the dude doesn't look like he's literally about to die, they should just let it go, and then let it go to
exactly,
the
man.
next round. Yeah. No,
Exactly,
that's
dude.
bullshit. It seems
Yeah,
like a
bro.
lot of the time the refs and the judges like have like a narrative they want to push depending on like which fighter is going to bring in more cash to the promotion.
Um, I will say I don't want to like I'm not going to name names or
Yeah.
anything, but I do know people that like are very close with certain fighters and their teams and stuff like that. They live in the same area or
Mhm.
whatnot, or they train at the same place, and there's definitely like an incentive of like they root for them a little bit, but they're not going to like at least not on my end of it with the judging and stuff like that. I haven't seen like favoritism like that.
Hmm.
I've seen it more on like the inspecting level, to
Okay.
where like they'll just play a little bit more like nice, play ball a little bit with them, a little bit more, butter them up, and kind of like, hey, I hope you win and stuff like that. We're not
Yeah.
really supposed to do that, we're supposed to be
Yeah.
like the unbiased like people.
Right.
Thankfully, I don't really know a lot of these people, so when when I'm an inspector, I'm just like, hey man, just don't make my job hard, and
Yeah.
we'll have a good day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Like I heard a thing. I don't know if you've seen this, but I heard supposedly that like some old pride fights were not like rigged, but the promotion would kind of like under the table go to whoever they wanted to lose and be like, hey, we'll pay you a couple grand more if you just get knocked out, you know?
And
So,
they had some really shady stoppages. I'm a huge Pride fight watcher. Like,
oh, me too.
When I like go to eat and I throw on some YouTube, I'm watching Pride most of the time, and I watch from the beginning of the pay-per-view to the end of it. So like, there was a lot of that, you know, where they wanted the big jacked guy to beat the the pudgy dude, and they would call the fight super quick, you know, if the pudgy dude wasn't defending himself very good or took him down by any means, you know what I mean? They would kind of like, they would give kind of layup fights to people, and there's a little bit of that at the amateur level, but you know, I sure as hope there's not that at the pro level, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because that would make, you know, it would just be incentives for all the wrong people, you know what I mean? Like, you get the James Krauses that'll like, you know, start a whole team just to like bet on them to lose and shit, and like win big money and like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you see more of that in boxing than in MMA.
Oh, for sure. I think MMA is just a lot farther tight knit, like, community, to where like everyone can train with everyone. As long as you guys aren't like fighting each other in the next, you know, near future, you guys can like probably train together. You know what I mean? Right. Even if it's like, oh, you fought my teammate back in the day, it's like whatever. You know, boxing's kind of like cliquey like that, where, you know, oh, this is my school of thought and fuck those other teams. This is the right way or the highway type of thing. They don't really have that in MMA. It's like the wealth of knowledge, you know, the marketplace of ideas type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's MMA is definitely like, the community is definitely, I feel like, more open-minded than other combat sports. You know what I mean? Just because, like, from my experience, you know, like, and I've heard other people say this, but you know, I've trained with like straight jiu-jitsu guys at jiu-jitsu gyms and straight boxers at boxing gyms, and you know, they're always like, oh, all you need is jiu-jitsu, or all you need is boxing, and don't do anything else. This is all you need. But then you go to the MMA gym, they're like, yeah, man, go to the jiu-jitsu place, learn jiu-jitsu. Go to the boxing place, learn boxing. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, yeah, learn all of it. Whereas the more like isolated combat sports are like, no, we only want you to do this one.
Specialists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll get that, man. Yeah, you'll get that. The really good teachers, though, like you just said, they'll be like, hey, man, learn it all. Learn what works for you, dude. Like, for me, and probably for you, because we wrestled at the same high school.
Yeah.
We don't like to be in our back. It is unnatural. No. I literally started gi jiu-jitsu. That was my first combat sport.
Yeah.
Until this day, I still don't like being on my back. And I started in gi jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
In wrestling, you learn not to be on your back ever. It is not a dominant position.
No.
I don't have a horrible guard. You know, I'm a blue belt. I'm working on my purple belt. I don't have a horrible guard. Do I ever use it? Hell no.
And you don't want to unless you need to.
Yeah. I'm, you know, if I get you in my guard, I'm going for a sweep immediately, and I'm going for a position change real quick. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to, that's just not my wheelhouse, you know? For other people, it's like, hey, I'm not much of a kicker, or hey, I'm a big wrestler, so maybe my stand-up's not like super amazing or, you know, intricate, you know? Right. Your bread and butter could be fucking jab cross, dude. As long as you could jab cross into your takedowns, and that's your thing. Hey, bro, all power to you. You know what I mean? It's what works for you at the end of the day. Like, for you, I don't think you need to go learn like competition jiu-jitsu, bro, to where you're doing like
I don't think
shit in like rubber guard and like X guard and shit. Like, I don't think you need to do that. I don't think you're gonna be in those positions in an MMA fight. You know,
especially because I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy. You know what I mean? Like, I think that like for me, like, I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy. You need jiu-jitsu for MMA, and like you were saying, like, for me, I never want to go to that's never going to be like, oh, I want to be in guard right now. If I end up in guard, I'm going to be trying everything I can do to get out of guard. I don't want to fight in guard, but you do need to know how to do that, for sure.
Perfect. This is a perfect segue into my next thing. You were saying how you wanted to be active in, you know, your ground control on the ground this next fight, and, you know, put the effective striking with your effective grappling. My advice to you: I saw a fight this week. I saw a fight yesterday. This kid was winning. Stacked guard, just pummeling this kid. He's doing these wide hooks, dude, coming in from the fucking pocket, like reaching in his back pocket, throwing these swings right into an armbar.
Oh,
Kid laces up, fully straight, calls it. Opponent freaks out. Oh, you should have let my arm break, blah, blah, blah. It's amateur MMA, dude. We're not going to let you break your arm. So it's like that kind of stuff. That's something, there's a point to where it's effective, and there's a point to where there's a reason why, hate to say it, but there's a reason why those Dagestanis don't always strike when they're in those certain positions, because it gives you an opportunity to get up or gives you space.
Right.
So there's different schools of thought, right? There's like the Mark Colemans where they'll sit there and control you and, hit you with these active punches, right? And then they'll mix it up with like body, head. They'll mix it up with, and then they'll really posture up and hit you with the big bombs.
Yeah.
Like mixing all those types of strikes together, I think that's an effective way to win. I think this kid was straight unloading on his opponent, and I think he got carried away with, I'm going to chin this kid right now.
In the kid's guard?
Yeah, I mean, it was open guard, so he was just stacking the kid.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the kid just literally punch came down and the kid just threw up the armbar.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think a lot of the time,
positioning.
I don't like to be in someone's guard too much because I've gotten triangled and armbarred too much. I like to stay, honestly, in a half guard position is where I feel the most dominant, even over like top mount.
I remember we were talking about this last time I called you, and it's pretty effective because you technically have a leg free to where you could be on your knee or get up to your foot.
Right.
And then you have full access to your arm, like you could elbow, you could punch. You're not like in guard to where, elbows tight, elbows inside. Like, if you have one out, you need to have them both out, right? It's not like, we can't have one arm in and one arm out, right? Because you get freaking armbarred or triangled. So, just those little intricacies that, like, make or break a grappling exchange, you know what I mean? And especially, like, at the amateur level, like, kid got overzealous to finish the fight. Hey, man, your whole family's there, I get it, you got this kid in stat guard, you're hitting them, these shots are loud and hard, and you're affecting them, but, you can't get too overzealous and, like, chase that too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you know it's in the bag for sure, by all means, fucking balls to the wall. But if you're like, I never really loved trying to smash on a dude from like stacked guard. I just never loved it. I'd do it in like a street fight or something because it's like, it's a little different. But in a stacked guard position, like they have their legs free, they could throw up anything.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten triangled so many times like that to where I'm like, I don't want to try anymore.
Yeah, like when I get to stack guard, all I do is just grab their ankles and like put it to their head, and I just kind of roll them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't even play that game because it's like, dude, I'm not gonna go try to like knee slice into side control and then like, you know what I mean? I'd rather just flip you and then just like, run to the other side, and I don't have to do all that.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how different this game would be if jiu-jitsu wasn't a factor in it.
Fucking the Gracies, huh?
Yeah, I know, right?
It all up, dude.
They did. They did. You need actual technique because of them.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to talk to you about your intricacies, like on the feet, like what you look for in like certain opponents, and your effective techniques on how to finish the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely look for what they're trying to do. So if I am more of a back foot fighter, honestly, just naturally. So I always kind of look for when they're charging at me, and then try to counter and like create a space to when they're coming at me to where I can go backwards off the back foot and throw across. I've also been working on a lot more closing distance with like knees and elbows, working on, if they're having like kind of like a high guard with their boxing, getting onto their wrist and jumping into a knee or going into an elbow from there. And I think just for me, like one of my, traits that I was just kind of, naturally have when it comes to fighting is I'm very good at just getting weird angles on people. So it's like I'm not one of those people that'll just stand square in front of you and like throw it with you. I'm not good fighting like that, and I'm a very lanky, like long fighter. So I'm more of the kind of guy that likes to stay on the outside, cut angles, not let you get too close to me, and then when you do get close, either clinch, grapple, knees, elbows, but I'm not really trying to fight in the pocket with anyone. That's honestly like my biggest downfall, or the most mistakes that I made is trying to fight people in the pocket, because that's just not my forte. Just because I think it's my build and just the way I naturally am.
Also, have that counter mentality is like also good for your grappling as well.
Oh, for sure.
To be more defense oriented is sometimes the best mentality to have for grappling.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I'm definitely. We were talking about the other day, like I'm more of a defensive wrestler, but I think overall I'm more of like a defensively oriented fighter as well. Like I'm rather than kind of pushing, I'm kind of waiting for them to do something and then kind of like counter striking, or I'm kind of going off what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I feel most comfortable.
Yeah, it's smart.
Yeah, I feel like whenever I'm the one, whenever I'm pushing and coming forward all the time, I feel like that's when I get cracked the most or I make the most mistakes. And there's definitely the time and place to push forward, but I'm not trying to always I'm trying to pick my moments.
Yeah, that's what my coach used to always tell me is like pick your moments of, pick your openings. I've learned to be like a pretty good inside fighter, just because I'm not the tallest guy ever. But I'm a pretty like defensive striker.
Okay.
I'm not a big kicker. Like I'll check the shit out of your kicks, but I'll probably throw like a teep to the body or a front kick to like your leg or something. But I'm not much of a kicker. You know what I mean? I'm more like defensive kicker in that way, and kind of like a defensive Muay Thai stand up type of thing where you come in, I'm looking for an elbow, or I have a pretty good jab because I'm left-handed. It's pretty fast and accurate, so I like to like double up, even triple on that, or go to the body. I like to mix it up where I like to work my levels a lot to where, I'll go like 6-3-2, but I'll go 2 to the body, 3 up top, and then sometimes I'll even throw a fake in there, so I'll fake that 2 and come around with the 3 again.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're picking the levels,
That's
I really like to do that. That's like my forte is like I would like to say I'm like a defensive Muay Thai fighter on the feet that does levels and like works in levels.
That's interesting.
Because for me it was always like, hey, if I'm going to the body, like if I jab to the body, and they're throwing this big old wide hook, and they're leaving their fucking whole body open for me, I'm just gonna body lock you and trip you and take you to the ground.
Right.
You know what I mean? To where I don't need to shoot. I don't need to expend all this energy. You're expending it for me.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best ways to close distance, honestly, too. Like, it's funny that you said that, because I have a combo that's, like, almost the same thing, but, like, the complete opposite as well that I use all the time. And it's, like, kind of what you're saying. Like, so rather than the jab to the body, I'll go cross to the body, left uppercut, and then a right hook, and then I can go into a single leg from there. So it's, like, kind of a...
We do that one, too. But the one we do... Yeah, the one we do is uppercut, hook, cross. But when we work levels, I'll come with the uppercut to the body, or I'll go uppercut first to the head, hook to the body, and then straight to the top.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of those are the intricacies that I would kind of use, and like I always wanted to get your thoughts on like feinting and stuff like that, because it's such a big thing that I see missing in amateur MMA that like a lot of people don't employ, and I did a lot of it because I wanted people to think I was taking them down, so they would like widen their hands or open or drop their hands so I could, and then
Yeah.
like they'd be like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm dealing with anymore. You know what I mean? Is this a stand up fight or a wrestling fight?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I think that's super important. That's actually one of the biggest holes in my game, I think. Like, I need to work on my feints a lot because my cousin and my coaches are always telling me, like, because whenever I have, like, a new sparring partner, like a guy that's, like, pretty decent, um, I'll be hitting them with takedowns, like, every time, the first, like, 2 or 3 times I spar them. But then it's like, because I'm not fainting and stuff, then they kind of pick up on it. And then I'm like saying to my coaches, like, why the fuck can I spar these dudes 2, 3 times and I'm taking them down every time? And then after, a couple of times sparring them, I'm having a hard time taking them down. And they're like, because you're not giving them different looks. Like, you're doing the same, every time you go to take them down, you're doing the same thing so they can, like, read it. So I think, like, that's another important thing about feinting too, is that you want to feint not just to, like, overload them and be like, oh, I don't know what this guy's doing, but also so that way they don't pick up a pattern of, like, what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important things about it, and definitely something I'm good at feinting with my hands, just not with my takedowns at all. So I need to work on that.
I think they're one and the same.
Yeah.
And hear me out. Like the same way you fake to like level change to the body, it's the same way you fake to the. It should look the same.
Right.
You fake to the body, you fake to go take a takedown. It should look the same, so they don't know which one's coming, right? And when I'm pretty good with my feints because I would always like want to feint, and then them the like that nervous system thing where like it's like a pump fake, and then they think they're gonna you're about to go, and then you're not, and then you go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or you feint, and then you go. Right? That was always part of my game, and like, dude, maybe one of our episodes or a different type of topic is you and I meeting up and getting to move around a little bit, bro.
Fuck yeah,
that would be peak, bro.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
Yeah, and I might not go like crazy hard because I'm not like fighting it no more, but like we can move around and stuff.
No,
but
yeah.
But no, dude, like totally, like with your feints, dude, it opens up so much shit, man. Like, trust me, dude. Like, I fake kicks, and I don't even kick like that. And people like react to them. They'll stick up their leg, like, I'm gonna check, and I'm like, oh, I got you. Like, there's just little mental wins because then they just have so much more on their mind than just, oh, he's gonna take me down right now, or he's gonna whatever, like their bread and butter. They're just gonna do that. Like, nah, you gotta give them a bunch of different looks to think, oh shit, I have no idea what's coming at me next. And so, they choose the wrong, it's like those like little games where watch where the marble goes, and then if you lose it, you're fucked. You lose, right? So if you pick the wrong defense at the wrong time, you get fucked up. If you give them too many options, they'll choose wrong eventually.
Yeah.
And that's the way I used to always think, like when I would fight.
Yeah, I think too with feints, like what you were saying, like where you're like, oh, I'll feint, then I'll go, or I'll feint, and then go. You want to also, with you want to switch it up, but inside of your feints, you also want to switch it up. Like, you don't always want to be like feint, then go, feint, then, because then they're gonna pick up on that too. So you want to do like 1, then go, and then 2, 3, then go. Like, you kind of want to switch up that pattern because
or you'll just go no feint. Yeah.
Yeah, because then
I do that a lot.
Pick up on that, so you got to switch that up as well.
I do that a lot where I'll like feint. Like, say I was in a Muay Thai class with a kid. He's a amateur fighter. He fights under camo. He has a fight coming up on the 11th, I think, of July, or the 12th, or something like that, or the 13th. I think any one of those days. And he's left-handed too, but he's like a striker. He's like Japanese kid. And he was just showing me all these different looks, but with him, he wasn't feinting a lot. He was really like loading.
Right.
Like loading a lot and like, like loading so much that like I could feint, and he was biting on them so much that he got kind of accustomed to it. Like, oh, this is a guy that's gonna feint and fake a lot. And then there would be times where I would just go, like, no feint, no setup, just go. And then they'd be like, what the fuck just happened? You know what I mean? I was expecting him to like set it up, like, sometimes people are always like, yo, set it up, and then sometimes there's that certain moment where, hey, I'm just gonna make this like impulsive decision to like throw off the pace or to like roadblock them in a way. You know what I mean? You have to like mix that in there sometimes. You know, you don't let that take over, right? But it's like, hey man, I think like if you have a feeling of, hey, I feel them like catching on to me, you need to like change it up. You know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
need to
Those
give them,
instincts.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like give them a false sense of understanding. Like make
Yeah.
them think that they understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Make them feel comfortable, and then right when they like, I'm like, oh, I figured this guy. Then like switch it up, and then they're like, what the fuck? Because they're like
Yeah.
expecting a certain pattern from you.
Yeah.
And then yeah, if you switch it up, yeah. And I think also too, I don't know if you do these, but I've been working on this a lot lately. Is like hip feints. So kind of like
Yeah.
showing that hip to like fake a
Show them the
kick.
fake. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been
That's
doing
how
that a lot.
that's how I fake my kicks pretty much.
Is with your
I'll
hips.
just like I'll just
Yeah,
like do this, and I'll even like move my arm like down like this, like I'm a swing,
yeah,
and they'll like, oh shit, the kick's coming, or like they'll throw up their leg or something. And so when they throw up their leg, I usually go to the body because like they're going like this, right? They're like lifting their leg with their
yeah.
elbow up. So it's like you don't really have this is like kind of wide open.
Right.
So I'll just
Yeah,
like stick them. I'll just like stick them with a jab or kind of like a shovel, like right there. Boom.
yeah,
You know, give me
yeah,
one in the tank. Yeah.
yeah. I think yeah, fainting. It also I noticed too that if you're fainting with like that right hip, so like are you orthodox or southpaw?
No, I'm a southpaw. I'm
So
left-handed.
south. So I guess for you it would be your left. So if for you, if you're fainting with that left hip to like throw that back kick or whatever,
Body.
fainting
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
then it. I feel like for me at least, it opens up my hips to be able to
Yeah.
come back with that opposite side hook.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get like so if you're
Yeah.
fainting with the opposite and then you come back with that hook, you can get a lot more snap into it, and then they're not expecting it as much either. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something I've been playing with a little bit lately.
Yeah. It's that like snap back on your hook that you like want, right? No.
Yeah,
Yeah. There was a couple like good exchanges that I saw this weekend on amateur. It's these kids want to like get in there and they just want to exchange with each other, and it's like the first fight ended in 17 seconds because the first exchange they went out there and they just exchanged hooks,
yeah,
and one of them got he got hit on the chin, and he was like his body wanted he was doing like the chicken dance, like he wanted to
yeah,
like stand up, but he was like stumbling all over the place and shit, so they stopped the fight. And stuff like that where it's like, dude, you can't just rush in, right?
uh,
You got to like set it up, right? And Lucas, this kid the featherweight champ for Sparstar, um, he was doing a little bit too much faking and too much like, hey, I'm looking at what I'm doing too much. Like he wasn't being super active with his volume. Like he would jab and kind of like get out, jab, get out, kick, get out. Jab, kick, get out. That kind of stuff to where you want to be a little bit more effective to that and like kind of string things together, just like how we were saying. So there's different patterns, right?
yeah. That's
Like
actually
the kid,
something. Sorry.
yeah, the wrestler kid. All I was gonna say is like he kind of picked up on, hey, this kid's just kind of trying to pop shot me and kick me.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna dive in for the takedowns,
Right.
because he's not throwing any power shots, And by the end of it, AJ was like, dude, you have to fucking like throw more than one at a time. And
Right.
so he would go, like there was one, he kind of like rushed him with a jab cross hook. You know what I mean? And like that was a nice little combo. He kind of got him with a couple knees to the body up against the cage, and he sealed the win with that. But you got to be more active with with your volume, especially with a grappler, right? Because he's going to try to like suppress you
For
and
sure.
like come into
Close,
you
yeah.
and be offensive and push that pace. You need to like be like, no, you need to let him know, put him on the end of your punches and stuff like that to be effective and kind of like win the fight.
Yeah. No, that was something from my first fight that my corner was like giving me a lot of shit about because that I was doing pretty much what you just said the entire fight. I was in, out, 1-2 punch combinations the entire time. And then before the third round started, my corner was like, you need to throw your punches in bunches, dude. You need to start throwing some combos. And then I only threw 1 3-punch combination the entire fight, and that was the combo that I dropped him with. You know what I mean? So you need
Yeah.
to throw combos. You can't, and that's something that I've learned this last year is like you can't just be in out 1-2 in out kick. Like you gotta like have some volume when you're going in. You need to throw multiple strikes. It makes a huge difference.
I think it's funny that I was just thinking about this that like majority of the time, if you're like a good grappler base, you're usually a counter striker.
And that's I'm a total
Yeah,
counter striker, and I actually
yeah,
have never heard that before. That
yeah.
wrestlers are counter strikers.
Well, think about it. Like Tyron Woodley, um, low key in some of his fights, kind of Kamaru, right? He kind of
Yeah,
stands there and he kind of just like is in front of you the whole time. You know what I mean? And yeah, he does throw Terminator punches when he gets going. It's just all straight piston punches, but there's not a lot behind them, right? I know he did knock out Jorge, but like besides that, he's not. I mean, yeah, he dropped Gilbert with the jab too, but that was just good timing, I think.
yeah,
Literally, Gilbert steps in like this, and it's
yeah.
like, yeah, you're gonna drop someone with the jab. If I literally was like, hit my chin, bro. You
Well,
know
yeah, I can have
what
my arm like that, and if you're coming into it, it's gonna fucking
I mean? Yeah,
rock you. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, so like some of those wrestler types, like they want because also they're thinking of like sprawling in a way
hmm
of like it's that mindset of like, okay, I need to be more advantageous and stronger than them to if they were to try to impose their will on me.
right.
So like a lot of a lot of them are offensive paced where they push the fight forward, but they're not very good offensively like with their hands, right?
Right.
They're usually a lot better counter striking because people are used to them coming forward. So if you want to come and get in on a wrestler, it's not like you're gonna threaten to shoot on a wrestler or a grappler, right? So
Yeah.
it's like all they're just expecting you to strike. So like they're like, okay, you have one weapon, come on in, you know,
Yeah.
come through the front door, come on,
Yeah, and that's why even if it's a stand up fight, like being the more dominant grappler is like so advantageous because it's like that he's not gonna try not like that you have it or that he's not gonna try to take you down. So it's
Right,
like it almost makes your striking better because then they respect your striking more because they're worried about you taking them down. And then you always know in the back of your head you're like, oh, I have that ability to get him on the ground if I need to. So
yep,
it makes. I mean, I think that's why fucking Habib was piecing up Connor. I think
yeah,
because Connor was respecting his wrestling. I don't think it's because Khabib's striking is good. You know what I mean?
yeah, right. He had that one like big overhand, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing too. Connors was standing there, and when he backed up literally straight back like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone was to back up straight back like this with an overhand, they get knocked out.
Yeah.
I seen a big old 190 pounder. It was like a catch weight up in Dan Henderson's fight league up in Temecula. Big old jack dude, like big old traps, like almost like bodybuilder build. And he's throwing these powerful strikes, powerful kicks backstage. And I walk him out, and every time he's disengaging with his head right up, and because he's like tall, big guy, right?
Right.
And it's those tall guys. They want to do this shit. They want to like
Yeah.
extend their arms out and try to like block like this, and it's like, dude, it's not gonna work if someone like maybe not me. I'm a lot better at inside fighting now, or someone that like is coming over the top, like coming with those hooks or able to get in on the inside, like that person's gonna find your chin. Especially
Yeah.
if you back up straight back, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why,
Yeah.
like defending, in my opinion, like defending forwards is always better than defending backwards. You know what I mean? Like even if like you're saying my hands are out like this, whatever, I'm more likely to get knocked out going like this. If I'm out here like this, coming in, boom, boom, like going towards him, then I'm gonna have a way better chance at not getting clipped.
After this, we could start talking about the fights that come up, but I
Yeah, for
wanted to go
sure.
back to that Strickland fight real quick
Yeah,
with
for sure, for
Hamzat
sure.
because with that defensive comment you're making, like with Hamzat, the reason his fucking it was all his forehead and his brow that was all fucked up. Wanna know why?
Yeah,
He's coming in like this.
yeah,
He's eating him on his forehead, pressuring forward, right? He's
right,
like that's like a sign of suffocation of strikes, right?
right,
Like if Sean was really at his peak, he'd be standing there at the end of his punches, like being able to like knock him down or like at least wobble the guy, right?
right.
And that didn't happen, right? Like there was no point where Hamzat was in danger, and
No,
that's kind of another reason why I would have voted or judge the fight for him, just because he put Sean in danger. Sean did not put him in danger. He did not put him in danger by kicking and jabbing off the back foot. I'm sorry, he just did.
No, I would say the only time that he did is when he had him in guard and was throwing strikes. That was really the only time, and even
and then
it wasn't
he
like
didn't,
a fight ender. It wasn't.
Yeah,
like
he didn't go for it. Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't. That wasn't his way to that. He wanted to end the fight. You know what I mean? Or that he looked like he wanted to end the fight that way.
Yeah. What do you think about? Have you seen that DDP's supposed to fight Kamaru Usman? That they're going to announce that in the next couple.
Yeah, that's a crazy fight because they literally fight the same. Like Terminator, march forward wrestlers.
Yeah.
Or not so much like DDP can like offensive wrestle people that don't wrestle.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
But it's a weird one. Like this low-key feels like the Robert Whittaker DDP. Where like I don't know which one is going to come out on top. You know what I mean? Because their skill sets are so like the Rob DDP is a little different. Like they have very different skill sets. But this one is so like they're fighting a mirror match of each other.
Right.
It's so like I have no idea. I think it's gonna be up to who has the better stand-up.
For sure, and I think
their grappling is gonna cancel each other out.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think DDP is gonna do some weird fucking shit with this girl. They're gonna end up on the ground at some point, but yeah, I mean, I think with Robert and DDP, they have a more similar build than Kamaru and DDP do. You know what I mean? Like DDP's more of like a stockier guy, whereas Kamaru's a longer guy, and I think he's a little bit smaller too. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, DDP's a big middleweight.
Oh yeah, I think he walks like 220, 230.
Yeah,
something like that.
Massive middleweight. Yeah.
Yeah, and for a dude to be 6'1" and 230 and not be obese is like really rare. Like that's a big dude.
You see that McGregor's underdog.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Dude, I don't know, like, I understand why, obviously. And the thing is, like, I saw this video of fucking Conor hitting pads, and he looked like very,
oh, yeah, the one with his elbows out and shit?
Yeah, he looked very tight and shit, and all the comments were like, oh, he looks like shit, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, in that video, he didn't look like Conor. He didn't look like the Conor, But at the same time, it's like, you don't know. His coach could have had him throwing that for 20 minutes straight, and he could have been exhausted.
Yeah, I think I seen that reel of yours.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and those weird, like, circular pads like that, those are just for shot placement.
Yeah.
It's not for, like, hey, let me really rip into this thing with, like, best technique, like, you know what I mean? It's really just shot placement. Like, with mitts and stuff, it's, hey, let's get the right technique, the right, like, form on this punch, and hit the target, you know what I mean? Those big-ass fucking pads where it's, like, holding it like this, it's literally just hit the target. That's all it is. Yeah. And that's what he was doing. He was just hitting the target, hit the target, hit the target.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And he was working on that lean back left. That's what all he was doing, but he just wasn't leaning back. He was doing this. Yeah. He was just this, boom. This, boom. That's all he was doing the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why Conor's the underdog. But I mean, personally, my money is going to be on Conor, because if I put money on Holloway and McGregor wins, I'm going to be pissed. So, like, I'd rather just put my money on McGregor and lose my money that way. I'd be happier that way.
Would be a huge underdog win.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like putting my money on underdogs always, because I'd rather lose my money on a bigger bet than win my money on a smaller return.
For sure.
That's the way I look at it. But no, I think Holloway's probably going to win, honestly, just because the activity. I'm not saying that Conor McGregor's a worse fighter. I just think that, you take 5-6 years off or however long it's been, like 4 or 5, yeah. Yeah, and partying and shit. And the other thing too is he's like fucking gonna be. He's a bigger dude now, so it's like it's his.
It's gonna be at 170, which is I think that 170 weight is gonna be hard for Holloway though.
Yeah, I do too.
Even at 155, like we go back to the DP fight, him for the interim belt. Like he looks all blown out and shit. You know what I mean? Like I think that weight is not like amazing for him up there. You know what I mean? Like he beat Justin at that weight. That's a skill-based fight though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Holloway got the better skills on the feet. Justin got the more power, for sure. But that knockout was skill.
Oh, for sure. For
You
sure.
know, ripping it to the body, coming up over top, that's like textbook, like what levels right there. Rip those
She was
uppercuts to the
beautiful.
body, then he's gonna, lower his fucking hands and boom, right over the top. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's perfect technique. Teach that every day. Like, if you were to go to like MMA college, they would teach that in a presentation of like that's how you work the body to get to the head. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you don't teach a DDP class.
No.
You don't teach Sean Strickland class.
No.
You don't teach fucking Trevor Peak class. You know what I mean? You don't teach like these crazy raw, untrained kind of like these wild technique guys. Like you don't teach that kind of stuff. You teach like the Max Holloways in the Ilya Taporias and the very technical guys. That even like Izzy in his prime, you teach that shit. You know what I mean? To a long fighter, his style's not like perfect for short people, but like it's good for long people that know how to kick.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not one size fits all, and that's the problem with because I've been to a lot of different gyms in different states and stuff, and and I'm glad that I've had that experience. But I see a lot of the problem with like some of the coaching is the guys who are coaching teach whatever style fits their body, and they see it as like the one size fits all. So it's like I'm having some guy who's like 5'6" and 150 pounds like show me these techniques, and I'm like, dude, I have a 75-inch reach. Like I'm not gonna be in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it seems like they are kind of closed-minded with that. But yeah, I agree. Like you need to have like different things work for different body types, and
Trust me, bro.
One size fits all. Like you know what I mean? Ilya Taporia's technique wouldn't work for Israel Adesanya, and vice versa.
No.
Yeah.
He's a short, compact, small reach boxer like type build, right?
Yeah.
Like Ilya from the start, just his build. If someone was to go to him and be like, "I'm gonna teach you to be an amazing kicker," he's not gonna be that. He's short and small. He's just not gonna be that. You know what I mean? You put him with an Edson Barbosa where he just got long limbs for his like weight class. Tell him to kick the shit out of things. Cool, works for him, right?
Yeah.
For a small person like that, even like Volk's kicks, they're not like amazing, but they like score points. You know what I mean? They get to the target.
Yeah, Volk, I mean, honestly, I'd have to say Volk is probably like the most coordinated fighter that I've ever seen. And I think it's because he's such a small guy. Like he's like
never out of position.
No, he's always
never out of position.
I mean, neither is Ilya Taporia, honestly. Like Ilya Taporia is always like on the fucking tee with every little minute detail, bro. Like even when he gets thrown off balance, he's like right in the stance within like half a second. Like he's never caught slacking, And same with Volk, I feel like in that regard.
Yeah, there's those high IQ fighters that like they tell the test of time, right? They're the battle tested, winning formula, right? Even back in the day, GSP, like we're going back to him, like high IQ fighter. Yeah, you could call him boring, whatever. Dude, he didn't want to take that much punishment.
Yeah, he was
punish him.
Yeah,
punish him.
Do it.
Then. Go in there and punish him. Yeah, go in there and punish him. Then you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he was he was such a smart fighter, and he was like a philosopher of fighting. You know what I mean? Like he had such a like philosophical way of looking at things, and like you just said, he's like I don't care if I'm not like putting on the best show. Like if I'm beating the guy, it's his responsibility to fucking like do something to me. Because why should I risk getting knocked out if I'm, you know what I mean?
Same thing with DJ. They used to hate on DJ. Probably like technique for technique. Probably the best fighter of all time.
Yeah.
And like, and what I mean by that, you could throw DJ into like one of those old Nike commercials where it's like the experiment and be like, do a fucking Lyoto Machida fucking switch jump kick, and he could do it. He could do all the moves of every fucking UFC fighter probably.
Yeah, have you seen that video?
Video is emulating, yeah. Like, that is who he is. That's that fighting style of like, hey, I know how to read patterns, and like this is just pattern recognition.
And he can adapt to anything anything on the fly. Yeah. He's just like
this is just ones and zeros. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's only so many ones and zeros that are compatible together. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he fits those puzzle pieces in a fight so like well, like someone's giving him problems on the feet, he clinches up, makes it dirty, throws him to the ground. Someone's a lot better on the ground than him, a lot more strong, then he's gonna pick him apart on the outside, have him chase
Right.
him around the ring, use his movement. You know what I mean?
Who do you
Oh, I
think
see
has
the
the
cat,
best? Oh yeah, I just got her like last week.
the visitor.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, who do you think has like the best fight IQ of all time in your opinion?
Oh, it's hard, man. I would probably say I'd probably say I'd probably say DJ or GSP.
GSP.
Yeah, DJ or GSP.
Yeah.
Demetrius Johnson.
I think
Either of those two.
I think I would either have to go with DJ or Anderson Silva.
I was gonna say him in his prime, pretty,
In his prime, yeah, in his prime.
pretty like there were some errors he made like towards the end of his career when he like continued fighting and he had some of those like kind of not exhibition fights, but they're pretty much like Anderson Silva fighting Israel Adesanya or DC or
Yeah,
fucking like all these weird fights, right?
yeah,
Michael Bisping and all that shit, like and he does all this like weird stuff and like his mind's not really in it, he's kind of just fighting, you know what I mean? Like you can kind of tell that he wasn't all there, like not like cognitively, he just wasn't in it anymore the
right,
same, he wasn't on that degree of consciousness where like all I think about is this shit, you know what I mean?
right. And
It's like being the best of the best and like
yeah, and I feel like we're seeing that with Israel Adesanya the last like couple years now too. Like I feel like Israel Adesanya and Anderson Silva are almost taking like a very similar path in that kind of way.
well, yeah, they fight exactly the same pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, they
And
do. Yeah, I feel like they're
yeah,
doing the same trajectory where you're just kind of seeing them fall apart the same kind of way.
and it's well, a lot of people might hate on me for this take, but
They fucking
Anderson didn't really express a full game of MMA.
I agree. I agree with that 100%.
You know?
I think his jujitsu was good and his kickboxing was good. I think he lacked a lot of strong wrestling, honestly.
Yeah, people were able to take him down.
Yeah.
They were able to take him down. The only thing that was good about his jiu-jitsu was his defense. It was
Yeah.
very hard to submit Anderson Silva. Was there any ever time where he like threatened where it's like, damn, he's really threatening on the ground right now? Like, not really.
Not really. I mean, did you ever see Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva?
Yeah, of course.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a fucking. I mean, yeah, that's like a good. That was like one of the times where he like was getting his ass beat the whole time and then just threw up a submission like at the last fucking second. But like you said with
And
like
those don't happen very often,
no, not at all.
Yeah.
But even like you said with the him not being a complete fighter in the game of MMA, he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. But I completely agree with you on that. And
Yeah.
I think honestly, Israel Adesanya is the same way.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna get at. Is
Yeah.
like they're those specialist fighters where
Yeah,
all they want to do is stand there and trade, and it's like, man, like your chin's been tested enough. There's gonna be dudes that are just faster. They're able to apply their technique faster than you. Doesn't
yeah,
mean their technique is better than yours. It's just faster.
yeah,
It's more youth behind it. You know what I mean? To where they got the miles under the tank. And
yeah,
it shows at a point. What this is fighting. Like this isn't like tennis or like a non-contact sport. This is like the contact sport.
yeah,
To where like you're putting your body through a lot of hell, especially with like how their careers went. They got finished a bunch of times. Injuries, I'm sure.
yeah.
All that.
And I think like fighters like them, they rely like very heavily on their reaction time because they have like a way faster reaction time than most people do. And I think once they're getting later in their career, getting into their like late 30s and stuff, like your reaction time really takes like a hit. And like I feel like you've seen it with both of them where like once their reaction time kind of dwindled away, that's when they started falling apart. You know what I mean? They kind of relied on like their God-given ability to not get hit just because they had such a fast reaction time.
Yeah, just like athlete, like like
Yeah.
we experienced that in the wrestling room, right? Like there were just some kids that were just so uber athletic that they could just like out athlete you, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of me a little bit because I like played football and traditional sports and like did jiu-jitsu before I wrestled and stuff like that. I feel like I just knew like body mechanics better than kids. Like I was willing to like push my body a little bit like harder than like some other kids, and like be confident in like my body to produce those movements and stuff like that, and like just out like athleticing someone, out athleting them, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there's that, and then there's the people that are just like, there's only go gets you somewhat so far. Like look at like Brennan Schaub, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone likes to hate on him or whatever. I don't think he's like that bad of a person or whatever.
No,
but,
I think he's pretty cool.
Just people like to hate on him and like his comedy stuff, whatever. Talk about it, whatever. Talk about it, not.
Yeah.
Hey, he was the top 10 fucking heavyweight in the world at a time.
Which is crazy.
Because
crazy to think about.
Literally because of how athletic he was. He was so fast. He had a good wrestling base, and he had fast hands and like fast movement. He could out athlete dudes. You know what I mean? And that heavyweight, all those dudes are older. A lot of those dudes are like heavier set, not very like athletic, right?
Right.
There's only so many, like I could probably count on my hands how many like truly just like pure athleticism heavyweights there are.
Well, and that, and you could count on both, and they're the same people, but you could count on both hands people that are actually true heavyweights. You know what I mean? Like most of these guys are like 200-pound men that are just fat. They're like light heavyweights or middleweights, but they're just fat. Like how many? Because the thing is, it's like if you're in good shape and you're a 220-pound man, you're gonna go to light heavyweight. You know what I mean? So it's like how many guys are
there
actually...
There needs to be more weight classes.
There does, yeah, because how many guys other than fucking like Tom Aspinall, like off the top of my head, or Francis Ngannou that are naturally 250, 260, 270 lean? Like there's not that many guys like that.
No.
You know what I mean? So I think that's why heavyweights had such a problem lately. Because, I mean, back in the juicing days, it was a different story. But
yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know how you feel about that shit. I won't say anything because I don't want to get in trouble with my job. But
yeah. I feel you.
I concur, bro. I concur.
But no, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, so like some questions, bro.
Yeah, so like if there was like, first of all, I would say one, what's like the biggest problem that you see in judging, and then two, if you could change one thing about judging, what would it be? Like one thing about the judging criteria, or even like the politics of judging.
Oh, I mean, we talked about this earlier. The actual system of judging, I guess the only way, I mean, I haven't really thought about it in depth, but just thinking in like logically and generally, I don't think it's smart to adopt a 10-point system from boxing because you're just not scoring the same thing, man. They're just not the same thing. There's that, that's just a very like, I feel like it's a very like base take. This is a very like normal take.
Right.
And then the other one with the politics thing, it's just, I think there's so many like grappler types that get in there, and that's not a bad thing. Like, dude, I love when I see people that are jiu-jitsu black belts. I love seeing a judge or an inspector or a referee with big old, cauliflower ear. Like, dude, I get to work with Chris Lieben. It's super sick, dude. Like, dude's crazy. Like he used to be. He's pretty chill now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, and like all power to him, bro. I'm not saying him specifically. I'm not counting out no names, but I've seen in the UFC and other promotions that like they really favor this control shit so much.
They do.
And it's just not part of the, like, dude, do you want to read the rules? Like, that's just what the rules say. It's not an opinion thing. I literally started in jiu-jitsu. I started in gi jiu-jitsu, the most gay shit you could
Yeah,
do.
and we both wrestlers
according
too,
to
so it's like
yeah,
we're not.
according to MMA people,
Yeah,
and then I ended up wrestling and then getting into MMA and like, all that.
yeah.
And
So just so people know, we're both fucking wrestlers, so we can talk shit about wrestling. We're not fucking boxers talking shit about wrestling,
yeah,
about grappling.
right, yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's grapplers talking shit about grappling.
Yeah,
It's like there's hey, if you are constantly changing the position, threatening with finishes, threatening with strikes, you know, getting to an advantageous position to where you could finish the fight or at least have some efficiency to strikes or, like I just said, like submission attempts, like then you can't really score it because you don't you can you can you score control time or like duration, right? That's the third thing
yeah.
on the criteria. Like that's not number one. It's
And it seems
damage
like they
and
make it
dominance.
number one a lot of the time.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
it's like there's other way like I've seen ones where it goes to like control time of the guy, but it's like, hey man, that dude's face is more fucked up than the other guys.
right,
You know what I mean? Like, are we not seeing the same thing right now?
right.
That's my only thing. And look, I know I work with these people. I don't want to like burn any bridges or anything. It's just like that's what I've seen from like past fights and stuff like that. Is that they really value that like control time a little bit too much. And at least in my experience, the cards all last night. A lot of I think there was only like two fights that went to the decision last night.
Oh, they were all
All
finishes.
yeah, like
That's
usually
sick.
amateur MMA, it gets down, bro,
Yeah,
and they come out to fight, because it's for fun. It's like passion. You don't really. Some of them have sponsors and stuff like that. Usually, like the champs, the promotions and stuff like that, have like little sponsors here and there and stuff. But like nothing crazy. They're not making like crazy money or nothing. Half of them, if they don't have sponsors, they're not making shit.
no,
So it's like it's just for fun and
it's for the passion of the game.
yeah, for the love of the game, man. And yeah, dude. So all the cards that I saw last night, they were fine. Like I fully agree with them. Like the Lucas Brown one I was telling you earlier. He's gotten a big shout out on this little video today.
Yeah, no, he
But
has.
yeah, he uh he had a good performance last night. Just on like the point fighting stuff. It's at the higher levels. He's gonna have to like mix it all together a little bit more and like be a little bit more active in those exchanges. But it's a good like base layer to have. Have that able to fight on the outside. Because I know that's the way you fight and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and at the end of the day, like when you're an amateur, you're still trying to figure everything out. You know what I mean? Like it's all about
Yeah.
just like learning from those mistakes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're not going to be perfect right off the bat. But yeah, and I feel like too, like it's weird because in amateur MMA, it seems like kind of like a split of like guys that are actually trying to take it seriously and training and stuff like that. And then it seems like the other half is guys who just like get their licensing and like barely ever like have any experience and just go in there to have like a bar fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've literally there was a dude that came in, doesn't have a gym, has never fought before. Um and he went on by himself. He lost 100 pounds
A
to
hundred
be
pounds?
to be at his fight, and he won.
What
It
did
was at Rampage.
was it a heavyweight fight?
Yeah,
He lost 100 pounds to make heavyweight?
yeah.
God damn.
He was a big boy. He was like a white boy with like long dreads. I think I've seen him in like street beefs before too.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
I actually met who Winged C is?
Oh, you've met him before?
I've met him, yeah. He's
That's
dude,
cool.
he's just as crazy as in the videos. Like that's not an act.
You know that one big fool that does like the karate headband that goes to what's it called? Street beefs. He wears
What,
like the
that
gi.
sentence, the black guy?
Nah, nah, nah,
Oh.
nah, nah. He's like a heavier set guy. Wears like the red gi to street beefs. He's like a karate guy.
Nah, I don't think I have seen that
You
guy.
never seen him?
Uh-uh.
He fought on a card a little bit back. I saw him lose, but Yeah, I was like, I fucking seen that guy before, and I heard his coach talking about some shit, and then I heard one of the fighters come by, and he was like, "Yeah, I think that guy's from Street Beefs," and I was like, "That's where I seen that dude." So I was like, "No,
Yeah.
there's no." Like, dude pulled up to an MMA fight wearing a red gi with a red, like old school karate like headband. And he's like a heavier set guy, and
Yeah.
he's like got glasses on and shit. And I'm like, "What are we doing, bro?"
Thinking they're gonna let him fight like that.
No, he just pulled up like that. Like he had shorts and like all the normal shit. It's
Oh,
just
but
like,
that was just his like fit.
yeah, that's just the fit he pulled up in.
That's fucking hilarious.
And I'm like, whoa, like you really think like you're a karate master?
Yeah, bro. Fucking
Yeah.
autism in MMA is real. Fucking just pulling up.
Oh, bro, it is. It is real.
No.
I got it for
Another thing
sure.
I wanted to ask you about is like the upcoming fights for like the White House card.
Let's look at UFC White House card. Okay. All right. So we got Gaethje, Taporia, Pereira gone, O'Malley, Zahabi, Hokit and Derek Lewis, Mauricio Rufi against Chandler, Bo Nickel and Kyle Dawkins, and then Diego Lopez against Steve Garcia.
Bro, just a side note, I love Diego Lopez. I think
Same.
his fights are super fucking entertaining. He's a dog, so I don't want to get hate for this. I love Diego Lopez, but I think he's overrated like as fuck. Like I love watching him, but I think he's overrated with his skill level. I think he's been good.
That last Volk fight was kind of like, damn, like showed up like the gap,
Yeah, yeah, like
to where, like we were saying earlier,
yeah,
mixing it all together. We sound like broken records, but that's the true expression of MMA. Like if you can
yeah,
mix it all together and you are the one that's dominating the fight, like you are going to win.
yeah,
That's just what it is.
yeah,
That's just, it is what it is. That's our sport.
yeah,
You want to go to boxing, you want to go to kickboxing, go do that. You want to do just wrestling, go just wrestle. You want to do just jiu-jitsu, go just jiu-jitsu. They have that now.
yeah,
Did you see that? They
yeah,
have the UFC, the BJJ Opens now,
yeah, yeah,
where you can compete at any age. I want to go do that shit. I want to go out there and wrestle people, though.
yeah. That'd be
I
sick.
want to go do just wrestling, like just like wrestling moves with like chokes.
Nah, that'd be sick. But no, I was just saying, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I love Diego Lopez, but I feel like it's like the same thing with Paddy Pimblett. Like, I just feel like I love both those guys. I think they're both great fighters with great potential. I just feel like they've been kind of thrown up to the top a little bit too quick, I guess is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that DeRitter fight was not good for Bo Nickel. DeRitter is just too big. He's just a monster. He's a double champ over in one championship. Super monster on the feet, like just elbows, teeps, knees, just such a long, dominant fighter. And he just, you know, outworked him. Just fully
Yeah,
outworked Bo Nickel in that fight.
yeah,
And ended him with that body shot and just sealed the deal with that, just the full expression of dominance.
yeah,
You can see me when I switch screens, right?
yeah, yeah. I can see.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so I mean, we could go over what some talk about Bo Nickel. He's fighting Kyle Dawkins, so it's kind of, they're both heavy wrestlers. I think Bo's a little bit more like fast on the feet, a little bit more clean on the feet.
Yeah,
He's got those like overhands and those big power shots that he kind of like sets up with those feints. Um, but I don't know. I don't know if Kyle's gonna come into this being like, dude, I dare you to shoot on me because we could just wrestle. Which I don't know if that's a smart game plan for Kyle. I don't really know what his game plan would be. Probably to go out there and knock him out. That's what I would think.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I think it would be for a lot of guys. It's not a good idea to try to go out there and wrestle Bo Nickel.
right.
So
Totally.
I
But
think
Kyle, he has a little bit more like submission threats.
true.
Bo is more like traditional wrestling where
One
he's
hundred
gonna,
percent.
he could slam you, take you down, sweep you, but doesn't have the very eclectic submission game. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying Kyle does either, but I'm just saying he's probably a little bit more submission oriented. But I think with that being said, Bo having like the positional superiority probably wins him that fight.
Yeah, and we'll see too. I mean, I feel like at the beginning of Bo Nickal' MMA career, he was kind of egotistical about, oh, I don't need anything else. My wrestling's so good, like I can do whatever the fuck I want. But I feel like
Can beat Hamza.
yeah, but I feel like since as his career's gone on, he's kind of like realized that like, oh, I do need to like kind of polish off my other aspects of my fight game. So I feel like he's has been working a lot of like jiu-jitsu and striking and stuff. So we'll see like how that translates at the White House card.
Yeah, man, and then we were talking Diego Lopez there for a second.
Yeah, I think Garcia's got it, man.
Yeah, if you wanna give us some insight on what you think with Diego and Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I don't know, man. Like, I love Diego Lopez. I just think he has like a lot of gaps in his game. I don't think he's like super. What's the word? Like, I don't think he's like kind of like translated. Like, he has all the elements, but I don't think he's like translated into like one fluid game yet. If that makes sense. Like, he's kind of clunky in a way. And I don't know. I just think Steve is just a little bit more fluid than him, and just like kind of just has a little bit more ability in switching things up. And I think that I also think Diego Lopez, and I love it, but I think he's kind of dumb when it comes to his fighting sometimes. Like, I think he like goes in there just like head first, just like fuck it, I got a chin on me, I'll take.
I was gonna say, yeah, he kind of lacks some defensive IQ sometimes, where
100%.
He's okay with taking those shots, and someone like Steve, man, like that dude hits hard as fuck, dude.
Yeah, I mean, my heart's with Diego. Man. Yeah, my heart's with Diego, but I don't think he's got this.
But Steve always proves these dudes wrong, man. It's like crazy.
Yeah,
his record's probably what's his record now? I kind of want to look that up in a second, but
who, Diego or Steve?
Steve.
It says 19-5.
Damn.
7 win streak, 15 by knockout, 8 first round finishes.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I got Steve on this. 8 first round finishes, man. Like, on a 7-fight win streak. That's a tough task for Diego Lopez, but I know he's the type of person to be like, "Fuck it, let's do it."
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely.
And he's the type of person to be like, he shines under those pressure lights, The only time he's kind of cracked under that big pressure was against Volk, but dude, we're talking about one of the best heavyweights of, not heavyweight, featherweights of all time.
Yeah.
Imagine Volk at heavyweight. He was a heavyweight for a bit.
Volk?
Yeah, remember at his rugby phase? You see those pictures? He's like 200 pounds.
Nah, dude, what? He must have been fat as fuck.
Yeah, you should look up.
Look it up right now.
Yeah, Volk rugby pictures. Fucking hilarious.
Bro, he must have been obese. 200 pounds for someone his size. Oh, not. What the fuck? Yeah.
He's like rugby build.
Nah, for sure, bro. What the hell? Yeah. Dude, I feel like he'd fucking with that build in MMA. I feel like he'd fuck some people up though. Like, dude, that's
just juice, build. Bro. That's crazy juice. Like, dude, look how thick he is there. I don't know for sure. Like, obviously, I don't know the guy, but like, dude, look how thick he is. And how small he is. That's so hard to obtain. Like,
yeah, no,
it's easy.
What I'm saying.
It's easy for small people to gain a lot of muscle, but it's hard to push past like 200 plus pounds at that height. It's super hard. Yeah, I'm at 180, and I even feel like overblown sometimes. Like, I feel bloated sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's all depends on build, But even for me, I'm like 6'1", and fucking once I get above like 210, I'm like pushing it, and it's all about frame and stuff. But like, yeah, if you're 5'6", bro, like Volk, like you're not like pushing 200 is crazy.
Yeah, I'm like 5'9", 5'10", like the most average height ever.
All right, this one is fucking. I want to hear your opinion on Ruffy versus Chandler.
Oh my god, I'm a huge Fighting Nerds guy. I have a Fighting Nerds T-shirt.
Yeah,
I got Ruffy all day, every day of the week. He is just too. He's too athletic. He's too fast twitch. Hits too hard. too big. Like he's just too everything for Chandler.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think honestly, bro, like no matter what, like at the end of the day, the reason why I don't think Chandler's got it is he's 40 and he's on a 3-fight losing streak. Like for me, that's enough to pretty much give it to anyone.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like if you're 40 and you're on a 3-fight, like if he comes back from that, that would be like the most beautiful thing ever. I think he's on his way out. You know what I mean? Like I just it's actually funny. So I was like training. There's this guy in Michigan that I've been training with named Troy Lampson. He just had a fight yesterday that he lost, but he was living down in Florida where I was living in Deerfield Beach, Florida, and him, Michael Chandler, and my MMA coach that taught me in Florida, they were all roommates together,
oh it's crazy.
which is like weird because I'm like, how the fuck did I meet this dude up in northern Michigan and he was roommates with my MMA coach in Florida? That also
Yeah,
is like connected with Michael Chandler. I just thought that was weird as fuck, but like cool.
this game, dude, I've really come to find out is so tightly
So
knit,
tight
bro.
knit, yeah,
Like
crazy.
at the event yesterday, there was Chris Padilla, Taco Padilla
Yeah,
from the UFC. He was there. He was coaching a couple fighters. So chill, bro. Like he was high as fuck. Walked in smelling like some dank ass weed,
Zah.
and then like there's a couple of guys that are like work with us. I have a buddy named Christian who's an inspector, and
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, yo, what's up, Taco?" Like and just talks to him like one of the boys, dude. And he's like, "Yeah." And Taco's like, "Yeah, bro, I'm just coaching one of the fighters." He's like, "Hey, you coaching Zane or whatever?" And he just goes like this. He's
yeah,
like he's just like so casual and like so cool. And like AJ McKee was hilarious. Like he was just cracking jokes the whole time and just like it's just cool. Like they're all just like us, dude. Like they
nah,
just
for real.
love this shit and they're like big nerds about it, big dorks about MMA, and just
Yeah,
like it is what it is, man. Like it, you will find like so many like cool people in MMA, and like even in just like if you were to go out into each individual combat sport that encompasses MMA, you'll still meet cool ass people. But
yeah.
especially in the MMA circle, there's it's so tightly knit. Everyone knows everyone. Um,
Like
like
truly,
the
it's crazy.
yeah, like the people that I train with at Pantheon, CF,
Mm.
um, they or FC, I guess. They they trained their pros and some of their amateur fighters over at Jackson's in
Oh,
like
okay.
Newport Beach and like over at Santos Studios and shit. And so like they play around with like Khalil and shit. Like one
Yeah,
of our main like he's like I think he's Middle Eastern. I don't wanna I forget his name, so sorry whoever you are. I've talked to you a couple of times, but he's a sparring partner for Khalil, so he was thinking about like moving here to like be a sparring partner for Khalil. And it's just like, dude, it's just like that. Like, who would have thought like people have like jobs like just being a sparring partner of like a big time fighter? You know
dude,
what I
I
mean?
know.
It's like it's kind of like cool, bro. Like,
Sick.
people get paid to do this sport. It's just you have to find your little like
Your
your
niche.
little nook, yeah, your little
Yeah,
nook and cranny, bro. And it's just you got to find the right people. Like, there's bad people in every sport. There's people that use their power for bad things, but you got to find the ones that are just like, hey, man, like this is a hobby, a passion project, and we just like love this shit, or hey, it's super serious, super important to them, and they want you to feel that, and like you just gotta like match them with that energy,
yeah.
and it's a super giving place. Like, dude, I've walked into gyms and been like, dude, I haven't seen this guy in years, and he's like, dude, don't even worry about paying the day pass, bro. Let's have a good fucking roll.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. It's
I
just
don't
an
even
open
care, bro.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, so open, bro, and just like, dude, I don't even give a fuck. Like, let's just roll. It's been
Yeah.
so long, dude. Like, I don't even care.
When I feel like we're honestly like right now at our age, like I feel like me and you we're at like almost like the peak of like MMA's lifespan right now because it's developed enough to where it's like a huge legitimate thing and there's like real technique and like legitimate like shit going on, but it's like
And all these new jobs and new things
yeah,
popping up.
exactly, but it's still small enough and niche enough and open enough to where it's like not like conglomerated into like an unaccessible thing. Like it's not like like good luck working at the NFL or doing anything for the NFL, you know what I mean? like the MMA is gonna get there eventually, but I feel like we're at like the perfect spot where it's like just developed enough, but not like, you know what
Oh,
I'm
dude,
saying?
we're in the party, dude.
Yeah,
We're in the party.
yeah, we're in a good
You're in the
spot.
cage. I'm on the outside of the cage, bro. Like, we're in it, dude. My
Yeah,
bosses, dude, they work Netflix. You know, my boss was like, "Hey, dude, you're really passionate about this shit. Everyone loves to work with you." Same Steve Quick. If anyone wants to know, anyone wants to check my creds, you can look me up on camo.org. You can look up inspectors, and there'll be me. I don't think my picture's there, but you'll see my card and shit.
we can link
That
it too if you want.
yeah, no, I don't have to. Uh, just that's my credentials, and I'm just I'm thankful for the opportunity, and dude, it's such a fun time, man. Like I always like most people do, like they have a bad experience with work and shit, so they're like, oh, I don't want to go to work. I'm like, I have to go to work or it's my job, blah blah blah. And then I get there and I'm like, dude, this shit's so cool. Like this shit's so fun. I'm like,
It
dude, this
is.
isn't work. Yeah, it's
No,
like this
it's
isn't
not.
work, bro. Yeah, like I'm nervous because I want to do it well because I care about it.
Yeah.
I've never like felt like that about a job. You know what I
No.
mean? It's like a different type of anxiousness.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
like
what I
a
mean?
good anxiousness because like it's like you
Yeah,
care about it. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's not like negative of like, oh shit, I gotta make sure it's like really good and like I
Yeah.
don't fuck up. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
the same, just like, hey man, I don't want to fuck up because I care about all these people and like I really like these like the people I work with and I care about like the product and everything. Like I care about my work. Not so
Yeah.
much about like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble for my boss. My boss, dude, my boss lets us sit down. I was sitting down because there wasn't shit to do. I got all my fighters' gear checked and like got their doctor sign off and all their shit done. Taped up their gloves. They're warming up, and I'm all good. But him, the homie Christian, sit down. We're watching Rico against Usyk on his phone right there. We're just
Yeah.
waiting for the fights to start. We're just like, all right, we did our job. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
You're
Big
just
Boss is just
studying.
saying,
You're just
no,
studying, bro.
Big Boss
Yeah.
comes over, walks up to us, and he goes, "How's the fight going?" Like, doesn't even give a fuck. He's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, because he loves it too. You know, he's
yeah,
probably
it's like
like,
this.
yeah,
Yeah, this is what we do. Like, we love this shit. And like, he looked at me a couple times. He's walking by me, and he was just like, "Everything cool?" And he's like, winked at me a couple times, and I'm like, "Dude, it's like this is so cool, dude. Like, such a cool environment, so fun. Like, I can't wait to like get to pro, pass my judge, and like I gotta pass my judge and stuff first, but I just can't wait to get there, And I study so much and like I care about it, and a lot of people say that like I might be a little overly prepared, but I don't care. A lot
no,
of people
there's no
say it.
such thing.
Yeah, a
No
lot of
such
people
thing.
say that. A lot of people I've talked to that have done the course are saying that's like a lot of information and it can be overwhelming. But dude, I'm so ready for it, and like, bro, I want to be judging like big ass fights, dude. That would just be like so cool, and just
Yeah.
not because like I want to put my imprint on a fight or anything, just to be able to have the honor to like score a fight like of like two warriors that like I respect.
Yeah, and
That's
you're
what it
just
kind of
sitting
is.
right there, front row, fucking
Yeah,
seat,
like
like,
it's such a you know look. I hate to quote this dude because he's kind of fallen off in my mind,
yeah.
but a good Saint Rogan, a good a good Joey
Mr.
Rogue,
Logan. Yeah.
a good Joey Rogues thing he always says is like, dude,
Oh,
it's like
Joe.
a yeah, it's like a spiritual event that you
It
witness
is.
when they fight in the cage. Like
It
you're
is.
literally they're showing their whole like what they
Soul.
worked so hard
Yeah,
for, and like you get to peek into their soul a little bit. And
for
like I
sure.
like when I heard that, and then like that had my shit, I had my cage time, and then started working again, and it's so true. Like I sit there and it's like, yeah, I'm doing my job. Like I'm not a fan when I'm working. They always tell me like, don't watch it like a fan. Like watch if he's okay. Like that's your job, and that's what I'm thinking about the whole time. But that's another level of care that I've like become accustomed to, where it's like I'm thinking about like, damn, this fighter, like, is he okay? Like that was a hard round for him, or that was a really good round for him. I hope he's like, he's good cardiovascularly, and like my whole job is just to be staring at the fighter the whole time, like
Yeah.
as an inspector, because I'm inspecting right now a lot of the time, and I'm shadowing judging right now. So like I'll kind of do like I'll check in with my buddy of mine named Aaron, and he's like shadowing judging too, and like I'll just see what he thinks with his scores, and he'll kind of like show me his card and like see what he thought and like why and like stuff like that. And I'm like doing a bunch of studying on this on the rule stuff, and it's just even when I'm inspecting and I'm like watching the fight corner side because I have to sit next to the corner like for the fighter that I'm inspecting. I get to like judge it through my own lens too. Like, yeah, I don't write it down, but you know, I'm watching it. You know, I get to watch it right in front of me. It's the best way to take it in, right? It's like live in effect. You don't even have delay from like a screen. You know?
No. And like it's
Yeah.
like you see like there's something about like I don't it's like something like one of those senses that we don't recognize, you know, where you're like watching a fight right in front of you where it's like you're seeing and like feeling things that like aren't translatable through the camera.
Yeah, and then yeah, like body language and like emotions and
Yeah.
like
Just
the
little looks
wincing
the
and like
guys are giving each
yeah,
other.
or
Yeah.
like you know if something's in pain or like you know the way he's moving on something and you know stuff like that. Like intention, you know. But that's not something you really judge. That's just something you kind of as an inspector. That's something I kind of think about is like
Yeah.
intention with movements and like if he's okay and that kind of stuff. But you know, as a judge, you kind of have to like look outside of that a little bit and be like, pure, what did the fighter give me in this 3 rounds or two
Right.
rounds or you know,
Right.
there's 3 rounds, but I'm just saying in general, like you know,
Yeah.
it goes like 3 round fights, like you know, what did this fighter give me? You know, these 3 rounds and like, yeah, a lot of the times the card, you know, they score the fight up until the knockout, and then the knockout happens, and then all done. You know,
Yeah.
don't need the judges' scorecards. You
No.
know, yeah.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
only need it if it was like a foul or something like that. If they wanted to like overturn the decision, right? Then they
right.
go to the judges' scorecards and they see who was winning up until the foul. You know, that's part of the judging criteria as well.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and then what? So, what do you think about with the fouls and stuff? Like an example, like that comes to my head is like John Jones's only loss was from like a foul, right? Like, do you think?
yeah, the 12-6 elbow.
Yeah, like I don't think it should like that should have been, in my opinion, and I want to hear yours. Like, do you think that should have been a no contest? Like, I don't think a foul, if it goes to an end, should go to the other guy just because you fouled him necessarily.
I have notes here of this, and this is like some of the nitty gritty stuff I'm like trying to study a lot of right now.
Yeah.
With that, it's a lot more complicated because they have to they go like I'm kind of going back on the intentions thing. Like you kind of have to go with like, did the foul like change the trajectory of the fight?
Hmm.
And when John elbowed that dude, like you know, he kind of cooked him. You know what
So
I mean? He
then,
was done.
yeah, but then so I agree. But then, so if
Yeah.
that's the case, then why did Aspinall get a win when he got his eye poked? But that was a no contest, right?
Yeah, which I
So
think
so why? That's kind of what I'm asking. Like, why is that a no contest, and then that was like a win or a loss for John Jones? You know?
I have the paper here. Um, that's more of like and that's the referee's decision to make at the end of the day. We
Hmm.
just write on the cards like what it is. Um, but yeah, there's like accidental fouls. Like it says right here, if an accidental foul causes an injury severe enough for the referee to stop the bout will result in either a no contest or disqualification if stopped before 2 of the 3 scheduled rounds is completed or 3 of the 5 scheduled rounds is completed. If an accidental foul, and then that's number 1. Number 2, it says if an accidental foul causes an injury severe enough for the referee to stop the bout after 2 of the 3 scheduled rounds is completed or 3 of the 5 scheduled rounds is completed, the bout will result in a technical decision awarded to the fighter who is ahead on the
Mm,
scorecards at the time of the bout is stopped.
interesting.
And then if a fighter during the course of the round visibly loses control of bodily, wait, no. In an event of a loss, wait. What the fuck? Hold on. Yeah, that's all. And then eye poke foul procedures. If a foul is committed, the referee shall call time, check the fouled MMA fighter, assess the foul for potential points of deductions. During all timeout procedures, there shall be no coaching or of a contestant permitted. And then eye pokes, it says, unless the fighter requires immediate medical attention, the referee and ringside physician shall allow the fighter time to compose themselves so the fighter can then give a verbal yes or no that they can see. And didn't Tom say he couldn't see?
Yeah. So it's
There you
almost like a nut shot then, in a way, because like if you get hit in the nuts, it's like that same kind of protocol.
But but this says, it specifically says he would have to say yes or no. So like the ringside physician and the ref will sit there and be like, "Can you continue?" And Tom goes, "I can't see." Okay, no mas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's a very that's kind of black and white a little bit. Like after reading that, it's
Right.
very black and white.
It is.
Um,
And that's cool. They leave it up to the fighter for that, in a way. You know.
yeah, man. Like
I like that.
yeah, and because I bet the fighters are like, dude, I don't want to be the guy that like makes this guys lose because of a fucking foul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of shit. Like,
Yeah.
I get that totally. So like leaving it in the power of the fighter is cool because
It is.
hey, bro, if you choose, if you're still fucked up from the foul, or you don't think you'll have longevity in the fight, and you still agree to go fight out there, that's on you, and then you're dying on your shield, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But then that's why like it does get into the nitty gritty and like the little nuances. Because then, if you say that, which I agree with, then you could also say, well, then the ref shouldn't be allowed to call like a stoppage or TKO or whatever. Like he should be asking like fighter good, and if he says yes, no matter how fucked up he's getting, he should be allowed to keep going no matter what. If he says it's okay, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think there's a little nuance there to where he could be saying that he's okay, and he can't
He's not. Yeah.
He's like wobbling around, doesn't know where he's at. Like you could see it in his face, like because they have all those tells. Like they stop fights for people that like they don't even look like they're there anymore.
Yeah.
Especially in boxing and stuff like that, because it's all like regulated to usually one spot, and it's the head.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why like so many like MMA fighters don't have CTE.
Yeah, well, and the other thing too is like you can get knocked out in boxing and still keep fighting as long as you get up. You know what I mean?
I think that's so crazy, dude. You can get full on knocked out, and if you get up in those 10 seconds or whatever,
you're good.
Like you could keep going.
Yeah, you could get knocked out 2-3 times in a fight, whereas MMA, like that's not happening.
Oh yeah, because you get finished.
Yeah, but yeah, no,
you get dropped, and then like you could fucking finish the fight.
I think that's why boxing has more CTE than MMA for that one reason.
You get to like you think there's a restart. Yeah, your brain is like, okay, let's not have this head trauma again, and then you test it a couple more times.
Dude, yeah, that shit's fucking crazy, bro.
I only took pure boxing for like I think a year and a half, 2 years, and I was not loving it. Like I was alright at it, I always went against like big, like 190 pounder. I used to go against this 190 pounder, and I was still like a 150 pounder, bro. And he's a big old, like just big shoulders, like big old Mexican, bro. And he would just like kind of like an Isaac Cruz, but like more like overhands, like less hooks. Kind of like doing this shit.
Like the dipping and
yeah, dude, I would just jab the shit out of him all the time. And just hit him with like straight shots and like, be on the like outside because it's just fuck that.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, he would like hit me It's like before I became privy to it, and I would be like seeing 3 of them, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Well,
dude, I hate this sport, dude. It sucks.
I think another like
Because the gloves are an illusion, bro. Like they're such an illusion.
they
Like
are
you think that like these are these big pillows, dude, but those motherfuckers know how to manipulate those suckers to make them like hard as a rock. So when
no,
they hit
yeah,
you, it's like this like extra like fucking like weapon. It's like a
for sure.
weapon.
For sure, and I
Yeah.
think it's like, well, so just wrapping up the thought of like more CT. I think another reason is those motherfuckers spar way harder than in MMA.
Oh yeah.
Way,
It's just
but like I've been,
because they got one thing, you
yeah,
know.
I've been boxing in the like I had never boxed in the ring up until like a month ago, and I've been boxing a lot and like sparring with a lot of boxers. Those motherfuckers like practically full on fight when you're sparring.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
Well,
that is like another CT thing. But then what were you saying with the gloves? I think that really the main difference, because I mean it hurt. It doesn't. It's not a pillow. But I'd say the main thing for me that I've noticed that's different is like you have so much more defense with those boxing gloves on. You're
exactly.
just holding them up like right there. You can like eat shots a lot, and a lot of those boxers are standing here just eating shots, but like you know it's still fucking with your
It's
brain.
still
It's not
yeah, it still
rocking as
hits your
much.
brain. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think
You
yeah,
don't
there's a couple
feel
of
yeah.
reasons.
It's the volume of damage, like the
The
like you know,
repetitive, just like
yeah,
constant.
like
Yeah,
just like you know, they have a stack of marbles. They get like 10 taken away from them every day. Like every day they spar, you know. As
yeah,
like MMA, it's probably like 3 to 5. You know what
yeah.
I
Well,
mean?
I mean, I'd say like you know, for every 10 MMA sparring rounds I have, I might have like one hard sparring sesh. But that's not even like a full on fight. That's like maybe like 70%. Whereas in boxing, like every time you're getting in the ring, you're going like 80, 90%.
Yeah, bro.
So it's just
That's
like
why I fucking hated that.
yeah,
Dude, I was such an angry fuck too.
yeah,
Like back then because I was just like, dude, I'm constantly like having to like fight for my life.
yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, I wish I could just take you down to the ground and just ground and pound the shit out of you right
But
now.
instead, I'm just eating shots right now. Like
Yeah, I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm willingly playing this stupid fucking game with you guys.
That's how
So
I feel about it. Yeah,
yeah, I want to finish out the White House card, the main card. I know we got off on a huge tangent there, but it was good shit.
yeah. No,
But
let's do the White House card, and then maybe wrap it up for the day.
yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
But so we got heavyweight bout against Josh Hokett, Derek Lewis, short notice. You know, they threw it on there after the Curtis Blades fight
yep.
because of the hype and shit. What do you think about that? You can go first. What do you think about the hype, all that? What do you think about Hokett's whole shtick? What do you think?
I
What's the
love
caveman think?
I love Derek Lewis, but he looked so bad in his last fight, dude. Like not only did
Yeah.
he look bad, but he just didn't have any drive, dude. It's almost like he just went there for a check. Like it's like
Yeah.
the first sign of like slight adversity, he just folded. You know what I mean? It's like, is that the Derek Lewis that we're gonna see from now on? I don't know. So it's like I'm almost leaning more towards Josh just because I don't think Derek Lewis just has that dog in him anymore after that last fight. Like he just didn't even
Right.
seem like he cared or even tried at all. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of my take on it, honestly. What do you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is kind of a big like name layup for
Yeah.
Josh Hokett.
Yeah.
I mean, he did take out a big name in Curtis Blades, but he's a big name for the hardcores. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? People like you and me, people like the analysts and the people that are like really in the MMA sphere.
Right.
They know about Curtis Blades. They know how good he is. He's battle tested. He's a good wrestler. He got punching power, all that. And then he goes against this, brash Covington-esque guy,
Yeah.
right at heavyweight. Comes out of nowhere, starts putting the pace on people. Who's a good wrestler. Very athletic. Used to play college football back in the day. Like very athletic guy.
Right.
That's not, that's a thing we don't, like we were saying earlier, we don't really see a lot of that in the heavyweight division,
Right.
but he's that guy right now.
And he's got something to prove.
Yeah, and he has that shtick to hold up to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That that causes a lot of pressure. And I think he's going to rise to that. I think he's one of those type of people, and I think this is a perfect layup for him, a perfect spotlight for him to become like almost a superstar.
Yeah, I think this
Like
might be
this
the
can
fight that
take
kind
him
of
like
brings him. Yeah,
to that
I
like
agree.
virality, like big time name, where like people are like, you heard about Josh Hokett? Like,
Yeah,
you
White
know what I
House
mean? Like,
card, Derek. It's like the perfect storm to like bring him up
and
to
then
the
he's gonna
spotlight.
definitely get some mic time. He's gonna get some mic time. He's probably gonna say some crazy shit about like the Epstein list or something at the White
Yeah,
House, and it's gonna get super viral, and you know he'll
yeah.
have his moment. But Derek Lewis could also go out there and be like, "Hey, man, I have the most knockouts in UFC history.
And my balls
I
are
could
hot. And
and
my
I could do it again.
yeah,
All I need to do is land one." And it's so true.
yeah.
Like he fights like a drunk dad,
He
but
does. It
it works
works.
for him.
Yeah, it
It
does.
works for him, dude. He has the most fucking knockouts, man. Like
Yeah,
he touches you like, dude. I think this is a very underrated knockout. It's kind of one of my faves at heavyweight. That uppercut that he hit Curtis Blades with.
yeah,
Like Curtis is going in for a shot, and it's such a short little like shovel uppercut right to his chin, and he literally just like turns off and
yeah.
falls down. Like that just shows the level of power that man has. Like a short shot like that to be able to turn off someone's lights like that to where they're stiff like that.
Right.
That's crazy. You
And
get that from like kicks and stuff like that. You don't
exactly.
get that from a short shot like that.
And the thing that makes it more impressive to me is in my opinion, I don't think there was a whole lot of intention behind that either. I think it was more of just a reactive kind of like,
Yeah, it was
and
just
so
like get off me, like
yeah,
like defending the takedown, right?
yeah. So it was like just the fact that like he was able to do that without even really fucking like intentionally doing it makes it that much more impressive and like really like adds to like his.
He could do that to Hokit.
He could.
If Hokit goes for that, if he tries to mix it up, I think obviously it's super wise if he does that, but he's not really someone that fights with a lot of fight IQ. Obviously, if we've seen in his last fight, he just wanted to stand there and bang with Curtis Blades, which, I mean, hey, it won him the fight, but dude, that level of damage, at your peak in your career like that, you're going to shave off some years of your career like that. So maybe he wants to fight a little smarter. Maybe he doesn't. If he doesn't, I wouldn't stand there and trade with Derek Lewis, even if I'm Josh Hokett. He's more athletic, probably faster, probably has faster hand speed, to be honest.
Oh, for sure. But if
Um,
but at the end of the day, Derek Lewis is Derek Lewis, and it only takes that one fucking retard shot to fucking put you out.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's durable too. I mean, he's lately his couple fights, like he has some giving up tendencies. I mean, I like Derek Lewis. It just looks like that. Maybe
I like
not.
him too, but I he
Maybe he just gets
yeah,
that hurt or something. Maybe he just has an easy off switch nowadays. But it looks like he has a case of like giving up and like he doesn't really want to be in there.
yeah,
But with this, it's like, hey man, big opportunity. They're treating you like a star. You're Derek Lewis going in. Most KOs. Gonna go fight this guy that's loudmouth, talks a whole bunch of shit. That like they're both American fighters, but I guarantee you that like he feels some sort of way about like not being misrepresented at the White House and stuff like that, and
yeah,
having to go against someone that's like a very Colby Covington-esque type of person is kind
right,
of maybe a slap in the face to Derek Lewis. Is like, hey man, like this is an upper comer. I've solidified my legacy. Like, who the fuck is this kid talking all this shit?
right.
So it's a recipe for a decent fight.
It for sure is.
If Derek is prepared for the fight, maybe he's got some more conditioning in him, because that's something that he might have to lean on in this fight, because Josh is pretty durable. He's got a good gas tank. He's got a good offensive pace. He's got good stand up skills. So and then that's all like anti Derek Lewis.
Yeah,
People who lose against Derek Lewis are like the people that my coach likes to say, you like to watch your work too much. You
yeah,
like to sit there and like stare. You like to look at, sit there and look pretty. Like, no, You can't sit there and watch your work. You can't just stand right in front of them. You know, you got to move, got to exit, circle off, you know, stuff like that. And Derek is good when people stand right in front of him. You know,
Yeah, but
he
he'll
likes to
get such
stand
an
there and trade.
active guy.
Yeah,
So
and he wants to, maybe get inside and go for a takedown. Who knows, man?
yeah,
I think it's smart. I think that's the way to easy victory for Oki, but
yeah.
easy
I actually
victories
didn't
may not be.
I
Yeah,
didn't see this, but yeah, did you know that he's actually ranked higher than Derek Lewis in the
yeah, because
heavyweight division? Yeah,
Curtis Blades was. Yeah,
yeah, I didn't know that. So yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll see.
yeah,
I don't really, yeah, I really can't. I don't know. I think Derek Lewis is gonna lose, but you never know. We'll just have to see.
yeah. And
Um,
then we got O'Malley and Zahabi next. Ayman Zahabi. He's on a hot streak, dude. Coming from obviously Faraz Zahabi. Um, TriStar. Well, what do you think? What do you think? You think O'Malley got it? You think Zahabi got it? What do you think? How
I
do you think
mean,
this fight plays out?
I think like okay, so if you're just looking at like the numbers, Sean like has higher volume, higher significant strikes, more average control time, better like takedown defense. Um, but he, like lately, Sean O'Malley hasn't been like taking his wins and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's kind of the wins that he has gotten have kind of been kind of given to him a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't know. I want to say Sean O'Malley just based on pure numbers, but I don't know. There's a hobby. He's probably going to give him a run for his money, and I think that if he doesn't like really stick to his game and like, you know, just like have some iron balls, then he might get got. You know?
yeah. I think. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there a little bit. I think Sean's gonna have to lean on his technicality.
Yeah,
His just being how technical he is. His fast twitch muscle. That speed. Those accurate the accuracy, accurate kicks, the accurate punches. Maybe mix in some body work. Maybe not throw too many. Maybe not throw too many like body kicks or high kicks or knees or stuff like that because could get grabbed and put to the ground. Salvi's got a pretty decent ground game. A lot of
yeah,
control, and that's kind of Sean's kryptonite in a way because he gets kind of frustrated as he's seeing like the Marab fights and stuff like that. To where
for sure.
he could get out and like he could try to stand up and try to out athlete them to get out because he's a tall frame, big athlete frame for that weight class. But he gets discouraged, and it's
He
half
does.
the time with grappling, it's a little bit more mental than like sometimes with like technique and stuff like that. Sometimes you just are like, hey, I'm not gonna allow this right now. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna switch that position as hard as I can, or just I'm just intuitively gonna roll the other way, or just what you're gonna fix something. You're gonna keep moving, right?
yeah,
And with John, he'll kind of accept the defeat on the ground. And as long as he's kind of gotten through that in his training camp, and he's fast on the feet again, he's like in it to win it, and got his mind straight. I mean, could see a normal Sugar,
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Like I think,
performance.
yeah, I think if Sean can keep it at his own pace and have Zahabi play Sean's game, I think Sean's gonna win. But I think the problem with Sean is, yeah, like you said, when things don't go his way, he can't like push past that. So it's like if
Yeah,
he's able to keep it his way, I think he's gonna win. But if he's gonna face some adversity and there's gonna be more like contact with like pummeling and clinches and stuff like that, and on
dirty
the wall
fight.
and stuff like that, yeah, then I think that he's gonna lose. So
Yeah. So, and those TriStar guys know how to mix it up good. GSP. Obviously, Zahabi's out of there. I really like that gym because they're always like that gym that everyone goes to like get better, like almost like the Kronk gym in like
mhm.
boxing.
Yeah,
Like they just always go to like him just to like up their game like 1,000 notches, and I just
right.
think it's so cool. Like they just, hey man, like come in from any gym, dude. We don't have any beef with no one. We don't have like gym like wars. We're just like we're here to help fighters if they want to like commit to our systems, and like that's it. And like,
Right.
um, so yeah, I mean, he's got a good coach base. I know Sean's got like his own little set of coaching stuff, and you know, I don't know. I think with the training with Sean, it's a lot more like specialized, right? Like
100%.
he flies people out, and like he doesn't have consistent training partners or like a team. As to where like Zahabi, he gets to work with the best in the world, like daily interchange, sparring partners and stuff like that. So
Right.
I always think that's interesting how different fighters go about their routine. Like some of them are like us, where we some like the majority of my career, I kind of separated my training to where I would go to like Muay Thai and then I
Me
would go to
too.
Jiu-Jitsu,
Yeah.
right? Um, I wouldn't like, and then towards the end of my career, and like nowadays, I do more like MMA class.
Mm.
But like back then, they were so separated.
Yeah.
But then I would like combine them, you know what I mean? And just like sparring or like, or just, I really wouldn't do a lot of like MMA sparring.
Mm.
Really, like when I used to like do my little smokers back in the day, I would go to Muay Thai, and then I would go to like jiu-jitsu wrestling class, and then there'd be a couple days where we'd like get in there and just like move around and like do like transitions and stuff with my gloves on,
Yeah.
and I would just be able to like mix it together, and then come fight night I would just like mix it together.
That's what Ilya Taporia does. Like
Yeah,
Ilya Taporia, he doesn't train MMA. He goes boxing classes, jiu-jitsu classes, wrestling classes, and then he just fucking, you know what I mean? And then he comes up with a game plan. But he doesn't like really train MMA specifically. He just separates all the
yeah, I think because it's like
aspects.
it's too general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just too generalized, to where it's like sometimes you need those specialist moves for like the typical freaking position, the abnormal moves of the side control, or guard, or like
Right.
the normal positions, knowing those intricate ways to get out or to use them in your game, and I didn't even know Ilya did that. That's actually really cool. I never really even knew that like other fighters really did that until I started getting into like how back in the day how fighters like would do their training camps and stuff like that, and now knowing a lot more about it, it makes more sense to do it that way, and just in my opinion,
Yeah, I
because
think
you have a more honed in focus. But
yeah.
continue. Sorry.
No, no, I think like there's like a balance. Like I really think you should train everything separately most of the time and then just bring it all together. Like 80-90% separate everything and then just bring it back 10 or 20% of the time in training. That's
Yeah.
kind of the way I mean that's like kind of the way I look at it and do it. I used to like only train MMA, but I feel like I've gotten a lot more progression breaking it up and then bringing it together. So,
Gotcha, bro.
but yeah, you want
Yeah,
to do?
and then
Oh, sorry.
yeah, let's do. No, no, no. We're gonna do. Yeah, let's do. What's we're
Pereira.
on the co-main? Oh, man.
We are.
Chama against the Frenchman. Oh, man.
No, this is gonna be a
That's a
tough
fight.
one. This is gonna be
Yeah,
a tough.
that's a fight. That's a fight, man. I'll go first.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, obviously, kickboxing heavy, Pereira. Gonna want to go in there and, kick the legs, straight shots, mix it in with the straight shots with the power hooks, mix it up with the kicks, maybe go head kicks, go body, traditional kickboxing type of stuff. I always like when Pereira mixes his elbows and his knees, but he doesn't do it very often anymore. He
No,
likes to be on the outside and calf kick and do all that stuff. Perfectly fine. He gets the win. That's all that matters. Um, but with someone like Cyril, who's kind of the same, he likes to play that like point fighting, almost karate
right.
stance, and like likes to flick out those calf kicks and jab going backwards. And that's how he wins fights a lot. I think Pereira, obviously, how you beat someone that's like offensively complacent like Cyril Gahn is, you pressure fight them, or you make it dirty. And I think if Pereira doesn't have to wrestle him, or he could clinch him, knees, elbows, get in tight, use your hooks, use your power. I think Gone, if you make the fight not a glorified sparring match, and not like let's pitter pat each other so we look good
Well,
for like
Ghana is a
TV.
much faster pace than Pereira, and that's like something
Exactly,
you gotta, yeah, for sure.
exactly. And I think Pereira, I mean, it's a good way to slow someone's paces down. Come do all that hyper shit on me, and then let me crack you really hard,
Yeah,
and
let me
then
give you
come and
that
do that.
check left hook.
Yeah, come and do that shit again. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, come do that again. Like, it's kind of like there's ways Alex can get around the pressure, but
right.
that's the thing is Gon's not a pressure fighter. He's a counter fighter. He likes to silly on the back foot, flick his front leg to get the calf kick and jab, step in
Yeah,
jab, like that karate, like kind of like blitz jab,
right.
where he like sticks his whole arm out, or it's like almost like falling over himself.
Yeah, kind of jumping into that or like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like he likes to
blitzing.
do that. Yeah, like he
Yeah,
likes to like blitz that jab and then like
yeah,
just kick with the front leg. And with Pereira, like all Pereira needs to do is like kind of he just needs to time him off his jab. Like Cyril does everything off his jab. The kicks are off the jab. He doesn't really load up like a big right hand. There's not like I just don't think there's a lot of power threat with Cyril. I
mm.
just don't like with because he doesn't commit to those shots like that. I bet if he committed to shots, I bet he could be.
Oh, for sure.
We haven't really seen that from him.
No,
He's a lot more like point striker, and I would like
100%
to hear your thoughts
volume.
on that as well.
Yeah, no,
Coming from Mr. Striker
yeah,
himself.
no, I agree. I mean, yeah, Gon's definitely like I'd say like volume over anything, and Pereira is more power. But I also think they both, in their own way, are kind of defensive fighters in their own way. Like
Yeah.
you kind of see Pereira like waiting for that moment for that guy to come at him. So it's like weird because is it just going to be this kind of like thing where they're both kind of just going to be on the outside waiting for someone to do something the whole time?
Yoel and Izzy.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, is it going to be
Yeah.
something like that, or are they going to push the pace? And it's like I think Pereira has it in his toolbox to be able to keep up with the pace. He's just gonna, the problem is Gon is a natural heavyweight. Pereira's not, so it's like he had to put on all that weight. And did you see that video of him sparring? What's his name? Like Tuxar, the guy who beat Tai Tuivasa like a
Yeah.
couple months ago. Like that guy was like, what was his name? Like Taxara.
I think you're right.
Yeah, he was. So they were Pereira and him were sparring, and like that guy is not like a very good fucking striker at all. Like he's not a high level, at least for the UFC, and like as high level as the UFC is. Like he's not very high on the spectrum there. That Tuxara guy, and like he was kind of cracking Pereira a little bit in sparring. So, and he's a much bigger guy. He's like 6'7" or something, 6'8". But I don't know, man. Like I think Pereira's gonna face like a lot of different challenges that he hasn't necessarily had in his career. And another factor is Pereira's always taken advantage of being the bigger guy in the cage. Like I think this is
Oh
the
yeah.
first time where he's gonna be the smaller guy. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like for him being the smaller guy, and kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like most of the time Pereira kind of has this attitude of like, I'm owning this. You're gonna have to like come to me. You're gonna have to do something. If not, like like he just like maintains like dominance and like position. And I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that with Gon just because of Gon's speed and his size. And yeah, I don't know. I think Pereira can end it, but I think it's going to be one of those things where if Pereira doesn't get the knockout, then Gon's probably going to go to the decision and win the decision. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, bro. Totally. Yeah. I concur, bro. Totally. Like I think they point fight with each other. I think it, could go either way. If Alex makes it more of a Muay Thai fight than a kickboxing fight, I think I think Pereira can get the job done, but we'll see. I think his power definitely translates to heavyweight. Um,
Oh, I think it
you
does. I
know,
think it translates. Yeah, any man on the planet
yeah.
will get knocked out
So
from
I
that
think,
shit.
yeah. So I think I think he's got a lot of he's got a big opportunity to kind of showcase his skills on another level now because gone is that he's not the most battle tested heavyweight. He's not the most popular heavyweight, but what he is a stylistic roadblock for Alex in that it's such a style that Ferrer's not really faced something like that. Not like gone such a monster. It's just complicated. He's a
Yeah,
tricky guy. Um,
and he's a real heavyweight, like a
yeah,
real
and
true heavyweight.
but when you see them facing off on the White House lawn in the suits, like, dude, he looks like he carries it pretty good. He looks pretty big right there, and he looks
Yeah,
damn near bigger than Gone almost. So
which
it's
is
like,
crazy.
yeah, and so
Yeah,
it's
that is
just
crazy.
so we'll see. We'll see how comfortable he is at that. But yeah, dude, on to the main event.
Yes, sir. Ilya Taporia
Taporia,
versus Justin.
Ilya.
Yeah, dude. I mean, first off, if Gaethje fucking does this shit, he needs to retire and just like sail off into the
The
sunset, dude.
sunset, yeah, dude.
He better not keep going after that if he fucking wins. But I don't know. I think Ilya Taporia just has much tighter boxing. I think he has much more technical boxing. Um, the problem with Gaethje for Taporia that I don't think Taporia's faced yet is, well, one, Gaethje is one of the better boxers that Ilya Taporia will have gone with, and I think that if Gaethje can utilize like his clinch work against Taporia, his really good clinch work, his really good like dirty boxing, if he can get that clinch work, come up with those uppercuts, get those like short leg kicks, and just chop them apart. Like, I think he has a chance, but I'm putting my money on Gaethje. But I think Ilya Taporia is gonna win. But for the reasons I just said, I think those are the ways that Gaethje would get it. But I don't know, man. It's like hard too because you see these guys that are coming up like Taporia when they're in their like undefeated. It's like so hard to see them losing in any way. But then they do. At some point they do, and then like. But when they're in that spot that Ilya Taporia is in, you just don't see any way of him losing.
Yeah,
He's younger. He's got more time. He's in his prime. He's faster. He just has more time on the clock. He's taken a lot less damage in his life. He's like young. He has every advantage over Justin Gaethje. Literally every advantage with like technique, age, fluidity, speed, like every little thing he has the advantage on. But I think Gaethje has a couple little tricks in his pocket that he'll be able to utilize.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think I got Ilya as well. Um, like I've said before, just a more complete skill set. Started out as a jiu-jitsu fighter, and now has gone so good with his stand-up now that he relies. No, he doesn't. I mean, not so much that he relies on it, but that's like his go-to now.
It's his go-to, but he's a phenomenal wrestler. I feel like people
Yeah,
like don't give him enough credit for that. Like Taporia is a phenomenal wrestler.
yeah, he's very good on the ground. Started with jiu-jitsu, and it's just
Greco-Roman too.
yeah, it's just complete MMA fighter, and obviously has the quickness on the feet, has the power on the feet, good footwork, great ring IQ, fight IQ. Truly one of the best right now. Um, I don't see many people tearing him down right now. I could see there's a possibility where Justin gives him a hard time for sure. in some exchanges. When shit gets rough and real close to each other at the very like close distances, and the inside fighting could be trouble
And who has Taporia
for
gone
Topuria.
with that's been like a really good because Gaethje is a really good inside fighter. Like
Yeah.
who has Taporia gone against that's as good of a inside fighter as Gaethje? Like that might be his hardest and inside fighting
Besides
is Taporia's
Max,
game.
besides Max and Alex, I think Volk.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But
But
Max is
Volk
also a
works
very long
levels.
guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Volk works levels a lot. He likes to play on the outside too. Like he beat Max the first time basically all on the outside. Um, and then he's just started working his levels against him in those two rematches. Um, but no, like I mean, I've seen old like Max. Like even when he finished Jose Aldo, that was all on the inside. You know,
Yeah. That
he's
is
hooking him to the body. He's hooking him up top. He's mixing it up. Throwing uppercuts. And then like getting him in turtle and finishing the fight. With those hammer fists and I just think yeah, Justin's hard to train for because he's so like rough around the edges, and that inside fighting's hard to train for, especially intelligently. Um, like no, there's not really many inside fighters that are just gonna like lightly tap you in sparring and stuff like
right.
that. They're gonna want to like crack you,
Right.
and oh, your cat.
Oh, I know. She's a menace, dude. She's like 8
Anyway,
It's going crazy.
yeah, I just see this visitor in the background,
Yeah.
just like clawing out the string. But yeah, I don't think Gaethje has the technique to get around that footwork, and I think if Ilya truly doesn't want Gaethje to touch him, I think Ilya can make that happen.
I do too. Yeah, man, it's so hard. Like I said, like you see these guys that they're just untouchable until they're not. You know? And it's like I'm not saying this is going to be the time. It's going to come one day.
This could be right.
But
It could be.
I could see it. I could see it happening. I don't think it's going to, but
Yeah.
it's not out of my wheelhouse either. Like I can
Yeah.
see it happening.
These
But
fights are on Sunday.
on
So Fourth of July is on a Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's gonna be a banger. Also, too, I'm interested to see how fighting outside is if that's gonna change anything for these guys.
Next episode, we'll definitely go over Connor International Fight Week,
Yes,
a
sir.
couple other cards and stuff like that.
Yes,
Might
sir.
want to maybe plug all your stuff right now. Maybe where to get your tickets for your promotion, your fighting, all that stuff, and I'll
Yeah,
plug
man.
me after. And yeah,
Yes,
dude, it
sir.
was great talking to you, bro.
Yeah, great talking to you.
Good. Yeah,
We
gone
definitely
through
gotta
a
do
lot of
this.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, gone through a lot of stuff and went through a lot of technique and a lot of you know the rules and regulations and the judging criteria and all sorts of stuff. Got on some few tangents, but it's all good,
Love it.
all in good fun. And yeah, dude, looking forward to like do more of this. And if
Me too, bro.
people gravitate towards this content, dude, I'm happy to have a future in it. So
Me
yeah,
too.
dude, just plug your fight, and yeah, dude.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for doing this with me, man. Like
Yeah,
me
of
and
course.
you were like fucking such tight homies in high school, and then we kind of went away for a little while, and it's like interesting that like me and you kind of both like fell into the same kind of shit while being
Yeah.
on like different paths for like so many years, and then,
Yeah,
like,
bro,
reconnected.
definitely.
So like, dude, like it's
Yeah.
so dope, like fucking reconnecting and then like trying to do this shit together. Like I'm so hyped about this, but. Yeah, no, if you guys want to watch my fight, it's twopiecepromotions.com. You can buy the pay-per-view. It's $25. I'm fighting May 30th, and then I'm fighting July 11th as well for the same promotion. So twopiecepromotions.com. And then my Instagram is the Caveman MMA. So if you want to give me a follow there, I just make some like dumbass stupid reels with my like stupid opinions of shit I don't know.
They're
what I'm
pretty
talking
good.
about.
He's
So-
not giving himself. He's not giving himself credit. There's a couple of them that are viral.
Yeah,
I see you, bro.
got a couple.
I saw you. See you, bro. I see you, bro.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, all you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, just follow the channel wherever this will be posted. My Instagram is Logan7L4. The one is an L. Um, and you could find me, working camo events as an inspector and hopefully as a judge. Working to get my judging license to be a professional, man, and just doing this with him and
Yes, sir.
along for the journey with the caveman. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and hope you guys have a good whatever time you're watching this. You know.
Yes, sir. Yeah. If you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yes, tune in for more. We'll be doing this shit more often. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Later, bro.